Why not?
What else have I got to do? Yeah, so Joseon is appearance waived,
What?
Yes, yeah.
so.
Which one?
Um,
Oh, I'll go through
The
them all.
corporate changes.
Just sign in.
Okay, I'm gonna start.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so everybody who's here should sign in. There are sign-in sheets in the back. If you are a member of the public and wish to speak on an application, please fill out a speaker card and write down your name and make sure we have the name of the application on here and hand it to us up here. Okay, and we'll get started. My name is Donna Raftery. I am chair of the SLA committee. Also on the committee, I have Brian Pape, Bob Ely, Katie Bordinero. So the way this works is, there are agendas in the back. As usual, we are not taking it in order. So, I'll call on the application. The applicant will come up over to the podium over there. There are two microphones. Hopefully they both work. The stand raises and lowers, the microphones come out. You need to speak into the microphone. So that's that. Present your application to the committee. Once you are done presenting your application, the committee will ask questions, and then we will go, once the committee's done, we will go to the public to see if they have any statements, questions, or anything else. Once we've heard from everybody on the public, then we will call the applicant back to address anything. And that's it. There's no back and forth. Everybody addresses the committee and not each other. And we ask that everybody speak respectfully. So the first thing I'm just going to go through, there are a number of applications that we are waiving. Slice West Village, I'll go through them at the end of the meeting, but if anybody is here for them, I just want to make sure you know that. Slice West Village LTD doing business as Slice, The Perfect Food. Ave 7th Avenue LLC doing business as All'Antico Vinaio, at 89 7th Avenue South, Industry West Village LLC, at 104 Christopher Street, and Xander Hospitality LLC, doing business as Café at 300 Spring Street. So those we are not hearing tonight. The first one we will hear tonight is Shin Takumi Inc. at 44 Greenwich Avenue. This is a wine beer cider for a restaurant in a previously unlicensed location. Come on up. And hand out, if you brought the applications, hand them out.
Yes.
You gotta hand them out to the committee, the applications. Yeah, so we can look at them.
Need to be nervous.
Is there any, don't be nervous. Are there any changes from what you submitted to the, are there any, is there anything different in here than what you submitted into this?
No, this is.
Same thing. That's okay. Yeah, you
The feeling we just changed the address. Before is this other address, we send the 100, we send this, now they change it for me. If we needed to,
okay,
we needed to.
yeah, let me have that.
Yes, yes. Great, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Other things, everything's the same.
Okay, start with your name and describe the application.
My name is Tian Yan Pang, mentioned for the liquor license. We only doing like beer and some.
I think you need to either, you need to speak into it or use the one at the stand, whichever one, yeah.
Taller for you.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's good.
Yes. My name's Tian Yan Pang. First name is Tian Yan. Last name is Tan.
Mhm.
Tonight we have mentioned for the liquor license. We only serve like beer and sake.
Okay, and this is at 44 Greenwich Avenue
Yes.
and, okay, your hours?
We usually bring regular hours at 12 to 10 every day.
Okay, I think your application said 5 to 10, is it?
That's a, we dinner, we setting like a dinner 5 to 10, so we got a chef kind of come here like prepare from the 12.
Oh, right, so you're open though to the public, your hours to the public,
5 to 10,
okay.
yes.
And when we say the 10 p.m., that means all your patrons are out at that time.
That mean like, last seating is 10, but if the people, didn't finish, so we're gonna wait for them a few minutes until we clean everything.
So what time do your patrons leave?
The patrons, you mean, customer leaving,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So usually, they usually doing like, half hour late. And no later than like, let's say like 10 finish, they usually leaving like 10:30. Or more.
Okay, so. Okay, well, the Block Association, did you speak to the West 10th Street and Greenwich Avenue neighbors, the Block Association?
Which who?
The Robin Felcher?
Robert Filter?
Yeah. I think,
This is 44 Greenwich. This is
am I in the wrong thing?
Hudson Square.
No.
No.
No, this is right on Greenwich Avenue. I have an email from Robin Felcher, who is a West 10th Street and Greenwich Avenue neighbors block association. And she said that the hours of operation are reasonable as long as the applicant agrees to the regular boilerplate stipulations. They support the application, so, but I think she thinks the hours are 10 o'clock
Uh-huh.
because that's what's on the application.
Oh, no, this, I mean, like, let's say I try to description for that, so usually like we doing we doing like a pre-stand menu, every
Right.
thing is 60 minutes. Let's say like start from 5, so 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 to 10. So usually customer, when they finish the last seating, they may know the viewing as soon as possible.
So the last seating, is it
So
9? Is it 10?
It's 10, yes,
So if we say everybody's out by 11,
yes. No, some of them, if they finish, they go into like in this kind of weather, some of them, they come or which way like up the state or like up western, up eastern, they may go into order like Uber, so they inside to waiting for the Uber. Some of them is happens a lot in our kind of a restaurant. So at that time, at that time, we cannot kick them out until they got their Uber. But our dinner finish is no later than 11.
okay, so. All patrons out by 11?
That is a weekend, like a Friday and Saturday, Sunday to Thursday. Our last sitting is 9 to 10, so 10 is finished. So
Right, but by the time you're out, so-
10:30.
So 10:30 Sunday to Thursday
Yeah.
and 11:30 Friday and Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. And, okay, there's no TVs,
No TV.
it's background music only.
Yes,
Yes.
very.
You're downstairs, right? It's a few steps down.
Oh, no, that's a few step down is one close.
Okay,
closed door.
So you're the one that's up, so
Yeah.
you're the one that's a few steps up.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure on that.
Yes.
Okay, and is there there's an exit in the rear of the space? Is there a door in the back of the restaurant?
The door at the back, you mean the backyard?
Yeah, I mean, there looks like there's a little exit door in the very back in the kitchen area.
There's a backyard is no access for the rear. This is only front. So I count this is an 8 step.
Yes, no, that I understand. Then in the back of the restaurant, you have the kitchen.
Yes,
And then is there a door in the back of the restaurant?
there's one door for the backyard, but
Right,
there's no step from outside.
okay, so are you using the backyard for anything?
No,
So you would agree that there's no staff in the backyard?
Yeah.
And there's certainly no patrons, but there is no use of the rear yard?
no.
Okay, and, right, I think, and there's a bathroom. Okay, I think that is, oh, and then are you only licensing, you have the basement and the cellar?
No, we don't have basement. Basement for the below to the, what's called, basement below
To
to the
the,
first floor.
to the
is a
first floor, so
basement
you just have the one floor, that's the one space, okay, okay. I think that's it with my questions. Does anybody on the committee have anything? Katie?
So, here's the Don. So when you go up the stairs
Yes.
in the building, your door, to the restaurant is on the right, and then the residential door is straight ahead.
Straight, yes.
But that you can't, the people who are coming to your restaurant can't get in to the residential door.
No, this is a password there.
Good,
Yes.
okay, that's good. And what is the check? How much does it cost for this dinner?
You, for the dinner, right? So we plan to, making a venue is a per person is a $58.
58,
Yes.
without liquor.
Without what?
No, no beer, the beer and the
No,
stock.
no,
that's it. Okay. And no one will go open that door, no one will open that back door and go out there to smoke
No,
or anything.
no.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
very important.
That is, the back doors only belong to the kitchen, so no for the public, no for the customer go out for the,
No, I'm not worried about the customer, I'm worried about the staff.
oh, no,
No.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna hold you to that.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, anybody else on the committee have anything? Is there anybody here from the public on this application? Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
So we send you a stipulations, the office will send you stipulations.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Good night.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, the next application is going to be Pandaria LLC, doing business as Dragonne at 13 Barrow Street. This is an on-premise for a restaurant. It's item C4. Is there anything any different in this than what you sent into the office? No.
Good card on that one?
Yeah, got an extra one down, yeah, already. Got it.
Yeah, just yet.
This is 444, right?
Right.
Maybe let's see what I'm making of.
No, this is 13 Barrow.
13 back.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, my name is David Cabay.
Please
Yeah,
talk it up.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
apologize. My name is David Cabay, I represent
think-
the applicant. This is a,
The only.
You
way-
need,
the
you
only-
need
you gotta
to
be
speak
real-
right into it. You might want to just hold it or,
Yeah.
or
maybe
pull that one over.
okay.
tell people have,
Yeah, stand sharp.
That works.
This is a new on-premise upscale French restaurant. It's going to be very quiet. It's going to be open 5 days, Tuesday through Sunday. It's going to close at 10:30 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. 2 floors, a main floor and a basement. There are going to be 24 tables, 54 seats, 1 customer bar with 8 seats, 62 people overall. Background recorded music only, no televisions. There's going to be some additional soundproofing once we begin. And if I understand my client correctly, this is a previous restaurant that was closed for an ungodly period of time, about 7 years. My client's principal is Mark Chow. He's a very respected French chef in Manhattan. This is his first venture. I'm gonna let him answer any of your questions about business operations and how the restaurant's going to run.
Okay. Either one. Do you want to say anything about the restaurant before, or no?
Sure, I just want to say good evening. My name is Mark Chow. I'm going to be the chef owner on premise daily operating the restaurant.
Okay.
Our plan is definitely to be a respectful and well integrated business into the neighborhood.
Okay, so let's, all right, so are there there's no operable doors or windows in the front, like French doors? Sliding windows?
No,
And there's no patrons in the basement or cellar, correct?
No patrons.
Okay, and then the bathroom is across from the kitchen. Are there walls separating the kitchen?
Yes.
Like it's, okay. And you agreed with the block association, there would be no roadbed in the future,
Correct.
okay? And about how many private parties, you did say you're having private parties, or,
We did a rough estimate of 2 to 3 per month.
okay, so 24
Probably not that many.
24 a year, is that?
Yeah, each.
Okay,
But this is a new venture, so we didn't want to over.
Right. Okay, and we did get a letter from the Central Village Block Association saying that they were in support of the application. With the hours that you stated and with there never being any roadbed seating. Does anybody from the committee have any questions? I don't see any. Is there anybody here from the public on this? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you. So we'll send you stipulation form.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
you. Okay, the next application is going to be St. Jordan LLC, doing business as St. Jordan at 183 West 10th Street, also known as 233 West 4th Street. This is item E2. It's alteration to add sidewalk seating.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Matt Borwick here at Helbron Levy, presented today for St. Jordan LLC. This is a municipal space alteration to add their conditionally approved sidewalk cafe to their existing license. This will be 4 tables and 8 chairs, 2 on each side of the corner there on West 4th and West 10th. They will be closing the outdoor space at 10 p.m. There will be no outdoor speakers or TV or host stand on the sidewalk. Then I'd just like to highlight the tremendous community outreach that my client Krista here, one of the owners, did, as well as her team. They collected 119 petition signatures, and we received 5 letters of support as well, all from local residents, residents of the building they occupy, as well as some of the adjacent buildings. Now I'll hand it over to Krista to introduce herself and say a little bit about the concept.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just gotta speak like.
Really close.
Yeah, really.
Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I have a
Don't be
short
nervous.
speech in a minute. My name is Krista Alexander and I'm one of the owners and I operate St. Jordan with my partner. We live just a couple blocks away on Perry Street and opened Jordan in 2021 during the middle of COVID with the hope of creating a space that felt warm, welcoming, and genuinely part of the neighborhood. Over the last 5 years, I'm very proud to say it has become a place. And for a little more context, we also reopened Fedora last spring, which has been an incredibly rewarding opportunity to reopen such a historic restaurant. Tonight, as Matt said, we're looking for approval to extend our liquor license for our DOT approved small bistro tables. They might seem small to all of you, but they do matter immensely to us, both in the sustainability of our business and to the neighbors who use it and enjoy that space daily. My biggest hope, and I really mean it, is it to be clear to all of you of how deeply we care about showing up as local owners, an employer, and as a neighbor. We take a lot of pride in maintaining our space and supporting our staff and making sure everything we do, including the sidewalk cafe, is done respectfully and is well cared for. I'm not sure there's a single neighbor around us that would say any differently, even the ones that might be in opposition to this movement. And yeah, we're grateful for the very large support we've received from our immediate neighbors, both upstairs, next to us. Like Matt said, we've received over 10 pages and counting. We have some friendly faces in the room and a few letters from folks that couldn't make it tonight but are involved in the community. So thank you for your consideration and time tonight.
So I'll just go with the obvious, both the sidewalk cafes are very narrow, so one is 2 feet 2 inches and one is 2 feet 6 inches, so neither one of them are 3 feet, so neither one of them, by our calculations, appear to be ADA accessible, and the rules say that they have to be ADA accessible, so did DOT say that these are ADA accessible?
They have not, they generally refuse to opine on that.
Okay, and then my other question is, how does wait staff? Is there wait staff and how do they serve from within the sidewalk cafe? Because looking at the picture, it doesn't appear that there's any room for them to be serving from within the sidewalk cafe.
Yeah, it's a narrow space that the DOT kind of shrunk at the 11th hour there in the fall. After, several iterations of review. We're working on operationally how we're going to serve. That immediate table right by the door is certainly accessible to waitstaff. We're exploring options of serving out the window there. And if, all else fails, then it may just have to be a situation where our customers bring their, coffee, pastry, glass of wine out to the chairs themselves and have no wait table service.
Sorry, what I would like to add is, I actually do respect and care deeply about the rules and we will follow them. And we are a very nimble and crafty business. If you know our space, you would see it's very impressive for how much we do in that space. And so I have no doubt we will continue to find a way to operate within the rules. We've gotten smaller tables. We also have considered having stools instead of chairs. And so I'm not concerned with the, albeit narrow, but.
Okay, somehow it all has to take place within the sidewalk cafe. Everything has to happen within the sidewalk cafe. Even if it's the customers, they have to happen within the sidewalk. So does anybody from the committee have anything they want to say before I go to the public?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. So,
Katie, you need a microphone or?
I got it.
Both of those?
Yeah, so just in terms of the door or the windows, they open out, right? Okay, so is the plan to have them closed when the cafe is in session, or are you gonna have those, how are you gonna have those open if people are sitting in their cafes, the seats outside?
Well, they don't really impede on it. We only open them, a couple months of the year, and we have rules on when we must close them as well. So they're not open all the time, weather dependent, but yeah, they don't really actually impede on how a guest can sit there per se. And if, one does, I think there's like one window on the west 10th side where we only open one side. We never open both for that exact reason.
Okay, yeah, because that's exactly what I was thinking is on that one side there. I could see how one would open, but if you open the other one, it's gonna go right into the person's head.
And it like squeezes you in instead of the choice of either you have that.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Wanna ask them.
Okay, good.
So you
I turned it off, sorry.
did.
Yes, I did.
So you said you're very nimble, appreciate that, but how are you going to serve through that window if it hits someone in the head? I really, you said you might serve out the window, but.
It's a possibility we're exploring. Again, it's operationally, it's the winter.
Yeah,
We're
you
gonna-
can't, exactly,
Sorry.
exactly, I agree with you, I just can't envision how it works on a regular basis.
Sure. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the public because we have a number of people here. So if you filled out a speaker card, come on up. Don't wait for me to call you, just say your name. I have, Steve Gould, Chloe Chandler, May Galloway. If there's anybody else who needs to speak and you didn't fill out a speaker card, speak and then hand me a speaker card. Yeah, good. Go on up, state your name.
I think I gave you a speaker form, Isabel Paxton.
Yeah, just go.
Evening,
Go ahead.
my name is Meg Galloway and I'm a former resident of the apartment directly above St. Gertrude's. I'm here to urge the board to allow them to maintain their single row of outdoor seating. Having lived feet away from their tables, I can attest firsthand that Jardine runs an incredibly tight ship. They are beyond respectful of their neighbors. They are the gold standard for how a business should coexist with residents. But more importantly, from a logistical standpoint, this corner is uniquely suited for outdoor seating. Unlike the narrow corridors of a typical West Village street, this corner seems to have double wide width on the corner of 10th and 4th. which provides ample clearance for pedestrians. Furthermore, the building's facade features a long-standing permanent awning, which may date back to the previous tenant, Bar Sardine. St. Jardine isn't creating a new obstacle, they're maintaining a historic neighborhood anchor that brings beauty and safety to our streets. To remove these tables would be to ignore the physical reality of the space and would be a loss for the visual appeal and the soul of our block. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Isabel Paxton. I am a West 10th neighbor of St. Jardine. I have been on West 10th since before Jardine opened, and I can say wholeheartedly just what an incredible asset to the community they've been. As a regular at those outside tables quite often over the years, I can say that they have improved the liveliness of the corner in a respectful way. I have watched as the incredible staff have made patrons extremely clear about who can sit out there and when. I have watched them turn away every party that is bigger than just 2 people, even when they just want to squeeze a third person in, because that's against the rules for the sidewalk. And I've watched them make sure that outdoor seating is closed absolutely by the time that it needs to be per the regulations, even if people are quite insistent that they would like to have a glass of wine outside. I've also watched them respectfully and kindly make sure that everyone stays within the confines of the tables. They've even set up little barriers to make sure as a signal to folks that they know where they need to stay. Additionally, as somebody who sat at those tables, I've watched many a person navigate the sidewalks. Like Meg says, it feels a little bit like it's never ending. I've watched wheelchairs, strollers, people with dogs, people passing one another with seemingly no issue. So I just want to underscore what an incredible asset Jardine and in turn Fedora have been to the West Village community, how respectful and amazing their staff and owners are, and that it would be such a loss to lose the outdoor seating. Thank you. Thank you.
Can I use this one?
Yeah, you can use any one you want to use.
My name is Chloe Chandler. I am an employee of St. Jardine. I came here tonight because I've been in hospitality since I was in college. I started at St. Jardine about a year ago now, and it is by far one of the most incredible places I have ever worked. Krista and her partner Andrew, who are both here tonight, are unbelievable owners. They treat everybody with so much respect, including the space and especially the neighborhood. I have never in my career witnessed so many neighborhood regulars. What happens at St. Jardine is really special. And I think there's this very like symbiotic relationship between the neighborhood and the restaurant. And it's visible just from one visit. The restaurant really takes care of the neighborhood and respects the rules and pays really close attention. And the neighborhood looks out for St. Jardine. I think you can see that here tonight. In terms of our business, our outdoor tables are an essential part of what we do at St. Jardine. We know that and we take it really seriously. And I'm here on behalf of the staff to let you know that we follow the rules by the book. We turn away business and customers all the time if it doesn't abide by our outdoor seating rules. They're very serious to us. Those outdoor tables are a large part of our small business and they really help what we do and customers love them. People come far and wide for those seats. So I really hope you guys will consider this application. Thank you.
My name is Nancy Paisley. I'm a neighborhood resident. And my comments have nothing to do with the quality of the operation, but with the DOT rules for outdoor dining. There is simply not room for these tables at St. Jardine. On the 10th Street side, there is no room at all for wait staff to get at those tables without going into the pedestrian space. If the window for the second table were to stay open, it would hit the head of the patron sitting there. Unless they rehang the door there that goes on to West 4th Street, any wait staff going out has to go into the pedestrian clear path, which is not permitted. On the 10th Street side, it's possible that wait staff could come out the main door and serve the first table to the right over the shoulder of the people there. But with a 6-inch, I mean, I'm not terribly bad, but you really couldn't shimmy down that to get to the second table. So unfortunately, no matter how nice these people are and how supportive the neighborhood is, I don't think this can be approved. Thank you.
Nancy, just 1 second. When you started, you said West 10th Street, but I think you meant West 4,
I
the first
didn't
one.
mean West Fourth.
Okay,
That,
I just-
that there just isn't room there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Steve Gould. I was a founding member of Christopher Street Block Americans Association. And I've lived in the West Village 59 years. And unlike my predecessor that just spoke, I really hope that the village that I remember can understand that there sometimes needs to be a little the ability to understand that the human element makes all the difference. And Krista and a partner also took over Fedora's, and the good karma that Henry and Fedora had has been exemplified by them and the staff. And I do know that passing by Dragonne, the staff is very polite, but makes certain that there are no blockages so that people with dogs and everything can get by. I'd like to see that we still have in the West Village the possibility of having a yes and not only using a yardstick to determine what makes the village what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Augustine?
I think that's a very good question. That's what makes the village what it is. I don't necessarily challenge it on this one. There's a lot of places that we do have a problem with. That we can't seem to get in line. We can't seem to get them to follow the rules. So the only thing that we can do here is turn up and say, these are the rules, please adhere to them. The rules are very clear on this one. I'm here to represent Leslie Clark, by the way, who's stuck at home, just had a knee replacement. She lives 2 floors above this outfit. So the rules are very clear, and they're asking for a waiver, basically, which is extremely awkward for us, given that we're trying to get just the basic rules enforced across the West Village. One thing I'd like to add to what Nancy Paisley said was that there is also a rule saying that they're not allowed to have a sidewalk cafe within 5 feet of a main building entrance. This one is. So the solution to that, and the solution to all these problems, would be just to have one table on West 4th and one table on West 10th. And these can be accessed sideways without actually going into the public sidewalk. I think that's what we recommend. I understand that there's an economic impact, but nobody's against Krista and her team. It's just we have a terrific problem with outfits in the West Village complying with the rules, and any exceptions have become really problematic in other places. I live over places that are problematic, so I really appreciate what you're saying. I wish my places were not problematic. Thank you.
I want to ask Augustine a question. When you say that there could be one table on West 4th Street, is there an exit on West 4th Street? For that, is there an exit from the restaurant on West 4th Street? Is that what you mean?
No, there isn't, but they could come in, the sidewalk could go to the corner, the sidewalk cafe, and they could just walk in from the corner. We could easily serve that table within the
Is
space.
enough room? I don't know. I don't see how they can get from the door without going into the pedestrian clear path to West 4th Street. I see how they can get to the table on West 10th Street, as you're mentioning.
Well, that may be wrong, but it seems to me they could just walk around the corner.
With their food in the
sidewalk cafe
pedestrian
there.
sidewalk, though. They're using the pedestrian sidewalk to walk around the corner.
But it's interesting what you say about West 10th Street. Thank you, Augustine.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay,
Right, yeah, if I may just,
Yeah.
I just want to address that the 5-foot residential, clearance from the residential entrance was specifically brought up by the DOT. And we addressed that with them. We revised the diagram for that.
what did they say? Is it now 5 feet?
That's correct.
We keep a little internal marker to ensure we're always at 5 feet.
You're going to have to speak just.
I was just saying, we as a business have a small marker on our facade for our team to know where 5 feet is.
Aha, I will look at that tomorrow.
I'll have to show it to you.
But I do see the measurement is there, and DOT did say that this was a primary building entrance. They didn't say it wasn't a primary building
No, I
entrance.
believe they did say it was.
Okay, so I think what we haven't addressed is the ADA accessibility. Okay. Just want that. You have 2 microphones in front of you.
Yeah, so we're gonna, what's gonna happen is the committee's gonna discuss this later, and this is just gonna come down, I think, to 2 things, the ADA and the practicality of serving the tables. And so you said that the weather prohibits you from talking about how you're gonna serve the tables, but that's what we're gonna discuss, and that's what's gonna rest on, I think, is one of the main things. And
I don't know how you.
when I look at this, the complexity of the situation of the windows, because you can't serve through them if they're closed. And if they're open, it seems just from the pictures and looking at them that you can't set up the tables the way that you have in the diagram. I'm not saying, that there's not workarounds, but you can't have both. The window can't be closed and serving through it. Otherwise, people have to take stuff out. What is it going to be? Because there needs to be a compliant way to operate it within. I mean, this is one of those situations where maybe it is too small. I mean, the rules didn't take into account, they were just made for everywhere. And, despite everybody asking for the rules to take into account different situations, so there's more clarity, they didn't. But this is one of the tightest fits. And I'm looking at these windows and I don't know how you do that.
You're right. I think the windows is an idea. It's not how I would suspect we actually accomplish it. We've gotten smaller tables. Our tables are now 18 inches, which is quite small. And we would even go down a few inches to 16 inches if needed. And yeah, I mean, you all are correct. It's a narrow space, and we're going to continue to do what we can to stay within that space. And I think, doing things like passing a glass, or I don't know, we're going to figure it out. And right now, as it sits today, we can comfortably have a server stand very closely to the table and serve. It is obviously tight, and maybe for some people it's uncomfortable and they won't sit there, but it is possible.
There actually happens to be a picture on Google of a server serving the table, and it realistically looks like it's beyond that space. I'm just looking at, so that's why I bring it up, because that's what we're gonna spend a lot of time, too much time talking about later, most likely. So that's why I just want to have that conversation now to see if there's a way that it can be done, because it just doesn't seem like realistically, and that's, and because we're trying to evenly apply all the rules, this is the situation where how can it be done? That's the most important question, and the windows don't seem viable. Having a server walk along the edge doesn't seem viable. So that I'm not saying it's not, but it's just the measurements look complicated in the way a normal person, because if you put the barrier there, that means that they have to squeeze inside the barrier, and that doesn't seem, with the leftover.
You're right. I don't
So-
think it's normal, but it is totally viable, and we will continue to make it work as best as possible within the rules that we're given. I think, I would urge you all to consider approving it, and if we're not able to withhold it, then you should take it away, and people should report us, and we should get in trouble and reprimand. for that.
I'm just gonna say one thing. The community is so tired of having it be their job to make sure that everything's enforced, and I don't think you want people having to do that either.
You're right.
Especially for the type of, that's the last thing you want.
I don't, I'm just saying, you know, when you go through an original liquor license application, there is a bit of good faith there. And I would hope there is some of that going into this, and if we can't abide by it, it's gonna become very clear. I feel fully 100% confident that we can and will continue to do so. I mean, you live in the neighborhood and I care tremendously, and so I'm gonna do the right thing, and you're right, it's gonna be tough, but we're gonna make it work.
Right.
I'm confused by the drawings that I am looking at. There seems to be 8 feet clear path clearance on 10th. Plus, a good amount of extra before you get to the building. But then when you get to the corner, well, there's other dimensions. There's a different clear path. And so, of course, sometimes, weather permitting, we go out and measure ourselves to see just exactly what the situation is. Because you're not required to have architect's drawings or engineer go out and measure and document it to scale. So we're at a disadvantage. We're trying to interpret from the documents we have. I'm kind of curious that there might be some dimensions that would help you, but I can't be sure because we really don't have all those dimensions.
We did have a very reputable architecture firm do the drawings. It's called Kushner Architecture Firm. They provided the drawings, and we obviously worked with them on that. But
Well, that's great. So I've got a second proposed diagram. And it seems like it's spliced together with 2 different scales and it might make some of the dimensions more readable, but since the scales aren't the same.
Yeah, I will say that, that second diagram is, my doing. I am not an architect. The SLA requires us to kind of splice things together to have the first floor interior diagram in there. I'm happy to redo that and make that a little clearer for you. But as Krista said, the outdoor diagram was designed by an architect. And when the DOT approves the full license, whenever that may be, they will come out and perform the measurements themselves to ensure that everything is in compliance and that all those measurements are as accurate as they are in the diagram.
Well, then just one dimension that I think I'm reading is 9 feet 5 inches from the curb to the seating on West 10th. So why isn't that 8 feet like the rest?
Because they need 8 feet from the side, so they're doing a straight line.
Yeah.
If you eliminate it, I mean, it looks like if you were to eliminate.
Yeah, initially the sidewalk Café was a little longer, but because of that obstruction in the furnishing zone, we had to pull it back so that we had 8 feet from that. So the furnishing zone object is the superseding.
Okay, Katie, did you have something? Otherwise, I think we'll just talk about this and. Yeah, okay, thank you, thanks a lot. Thank you for everybody for coming and your letters. Okay, the next application is going to be Barrow Hospitality LLC doing business as not is. 555 Greenwich Street.
This is the one I thought was closer to that.
Is there anything new in here? So no. Anything different from what was submitted?
Thank you.
Of
course.
Guys, hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, Gary Kelly here from Warren Kelly, the attorney for the applicants. This is Josh Cohen. This is Barrow Hospitality located at 555 Greenwich Street, doing business as Nadia's. This is Josh Cohen. Josh and his partner, Jake, they own Chez Matante in Williamsburg. They also, Josh is one of the owners of Lilia in Williamsburg. He's also on Brooklyn Community Board 1. They're very experienced restaurateurs. Like I said, Josh is on Brooklyn Community Board 1 as well. They've been doing this for a very long time. This is a full-service 110-seat restaurant, applying for a full liquor license at Hudson Square. This is the brand new 55 Greenwich building, which is the first net zero building in New York City. Beautiful, commercial building with retail ground floor. The hours are noon until midnight, Monday through Thursday. 1 a.m. Friday and Saturday, and brunch on weekends starting at 10 a.m. It's a French New American restaurant. Like I said, the operators have been in the restaurant business for many, many years. They have a lot of places. All the information is in the packet. They did a lot of work to get signatures from the abutting buildings, including 116 Charlton Street. None of the residents, they're all the big residential buildings, 110 Charlton Street. And they've all signed a petition. And I'll let, Josh, you want to say anything? Or actually, all the information is in the packet, so we're open for questions. Thank you.
Okay, it's background music only,
Yes,
no security.
no.
So just so I'm clear on this, where is the entry?
The entrance is on King.
On King, it's right on that corner of King, okay.
Please speak into the microphone
yeah,
so
yeah.
it can, be recorded.
It's on, can you hear me in this?
Yeah, or you can,
Yep.
okay. And so the certificate of occupancy, what's happening with that?
They'll have a TCO that's for eating and drinking.
Because I'm not seeing anything that even shows anywhere near this capacity on the first floor, even if it's not even for the right use, unless I'm.
Well,
Yes,
they filed, I mean, this is a very big building. They're doing construction, so they will have a TCO that's for eating and drinking, for all the spaces, prior to opening.
I'm just very, very curious, because right now there's just on the first floor, a Robbie and a loading berth. So I'm not sure where this,
The loading is a little bit up on.
right,
Right, so like we're working with the landlord, it's Hines and Grace Church are doing this building. So their their architect is going to provide us with all the necessary DOB requirements to open and meeting and drinking establishment. They're not going to have us do like a bunch of one work or anything.
Yeah, this is standard in a new construction building like this.
well,
Yeah, just to Donna's point,
Sorry.
just looking in here, is this taking both retail areas or is there a separate retail area?
There's only one, it's about.
Right, because it's broken out as two retail areas. I'm just on the DOB plans, so it's retail area A and retail B.
Yeah, I mean, like, part of the lease is obviously they'll turn it over after landlord work is done with all the necessary changes, yeah.
So when I'm looking at the building, it looks like you're on the corner space, is that correct?
Yeah.
And then there's another space further down on the other side of the lobby, is that?
No, it's just their lobby, like you would enter right on Greenwich. And if you walk in to the right, there's, like a little step down and they have like seats for a different purpose. It's nothing to do with us.
on
Yeah,
Greenwich, like mid-block,
Correct, more towards,
That's what you're saying.
Carlton,
right?
right, yeah, so but that's not,
then what,
that's not really for the public.
So
but the same building,
Yeah, sure.
it goes further south to
Correct.
block, right,
Correct.
so what's on the other corner?
It's just like the buildings.
It's the buildings area.
Yeah. Like
So
they
is
have
yours-
like a projection area for their tenants, you know, I guess to have like meetings and. That, it's not like open to the public though. It's not like a public.
That's not part of
So
their.
is there space, if you're on Greenwich,
Mhm.
from the northern door that's sort of mid-block
Mhm.
on Greenwich to your entryway on the corner of King and Greenwich? Is that where your space is?
Right. Right.
Cause it looks like that amenity space is actually listed as a
No, no,
retail
no.
space on the C of O. And the reason I'm driving at all that is that it looks like the larger maximum occupancy between the two retail areas is 135, and that's why.
That, it's gonna be bifurcated, there's gonna be, that's a separate space, so when they issue that TCO, that'll be in that bulk one, that'll be in there, that'll be a separate space, it's not this space.
Which space will be separate?
That other space, the one,
You know, it's listed already that way.
well, I mean,
But the problem is, then
I don't
it's
know
not big
where-
enough, right?
Yeah, that's what Donna's point is, it's the numbers don't seem to add up because it's 135 for this, it looks like the space that you have.
when the TCO is issued, when this is all issued, they'll pick and title. That's how, I mean, it's a brand new building,
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at what's on file with DOB, so.
Our space is approximately almost 4,000 square feet.
Okay, and then there's no patrons in the cellar?
No,
Okay, and the bathrooms in the cellar for staff, not for the patrons, so the patrons won't be going down there.
No.
There's no operable windows,
operable windows.
there's background music only, there's no ropes. I figured out where the entry is, the loading docks are further down the road.
Yeah, cause in the basement, it says it's an accessory amenity space and has 142 occupancy.
Right, that's what we're,
So that's why
yeah,
there's some confusion.
I'm sure that like once it gets all sorted, you know, they have their plans in with the DOB that. It'll just work its way out that we'll be able to have the correct amount of occupancy that we need. Like all this has been negotiated for a year. You know, with our architect, with their architect and, you know, their whole engineering team.
But so far as the license is concerned, there's no occupancy in them.
Oh, no.
No occupancy.
okay. Okay, so then, Katie, I'll go to you in one
Yeah.
minute. I just, when I looked at the signatures that we had received, I don't know if it's any different than what you just handed out. It looked like everything was from 110 Charlton. I didn't see anything from,
I got some from like, cause I got them myself.
okay,
And it
so
was
did you
a
go to
very
one,
Snowy day and like 136 was across the street.
98, did you go to 98 or 104?
You know, I did, but I mean, it was snowing, it was freezing, and I went down there that Saturday and Sunday, and all the neighbors were extremely receptive. I mean, I'm on the SLA, CB1, and I have restaurants in North Brooklyn and a club. So I'm very, very sensitive to how we operate. It's a reflection on all the businesses, not just us, when we come in front of the community board. So we will definitely make sure that we are operating in a way that satisfies the community, for sure.
Okay, Katie?
I don't see any prices on your menu. What are you forecasting as the average check?
I think the average check will be around 90,
With liquor or not?
probably, yeah, with liquor. A full, yeah, like the check average itself will be about $90.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, you're actually on community board one of Brooklyn, in Brooklyn? And then what area is CB1? Is that just all downtown?
Williamsburg, Greenpoint, Bushwick.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody else from the committee have anything? Is there anybody here from the public on this? Okay.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks so much. I'd like to say really quickly, Josh is a member of Brooklyn Community Board. This is not a political statement. I've been coming to this community board. I got my first liquor license before them as a non-lawyer in 2004. I built my law practice in the basement of my bar on Broome Street. I've been coming to this community board for many, many years as a operator and also as an attorney. Carter and I have duke it out many times, but these people deserve our accolades and respect, especially with what's going on here. Being spirit of volunteerism and as a child of immigrants, it means a lot to me. So I just wanted to say that. This is not shilling for my firm. We created a website, laurencallion.com/ICE. If you're a business owner, you need to know how to deal with ICE. Go on there, you can download forms, give them to your
Okay.
employees. Anyways, thank you for your service.
Advertising.
Bye. Not shilling.
No, he didn't.
What?
Okay,
Includes, on the application, includes.
no public.
I meant it. Thank you, guys.
Okay, then.
Good.
All right.
Thank you.
The next application we are going to do is 192 Café LLC at 192 7th Avenue South, on premise for a restaurant. That's a transfer. It's item C6 with that Erica. You guys reminded me.
What item is it again, please, Dawn?
C6.
Do I have to say nice things about you guys too?
Never.
I think you're all terrible, so I don't.
I think you lose points by saying nice things.
Okay, thanks, Mac. Nice to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, likewise.
Anything new?
No, I missed, we amended it
Again.
again, but it's
Sure.
we had to update the license class when we did that earlier this afternoon.
No, but
Thank you.
yeah, update is a good word.
Okay. Good evening, CB2. I'm Max Bookman. My law firm is Kozetsky and Bookman. I have two applications for you tonight on 7th Avenue South. This is one of them. This is 192 Café LLC. So I'd like to reintroduce you to the two gentlemen on my right. John Neidick and Craig Atlas from their partners at Golden Age Hospitality. If they look familiar, that's because they were in front of you in December, although I think that was SLA 1. For opening a French bistro in the old Morgan Stern's ice cream space on LaGuardia and West Houston. They have other restaurants in Manhattan, south of 14th Street, Monsieur, Duchat's, Ladive, Lucy's. John, as I told your committee in December, is a native New Yorker, deeply involved with this community. He's a member of Manhattan Community Board 3. This application is for a space on 7th Avenue South and West 11th Street on the southwest corner, currently occupied by a place called Gansevoort. It's a, did I say that wrong? Yeah. I've actually represented Gansevoort for about 5 years, and I don't think I've ever gotten it right.
With this depressing.
VSV is what I
There you
call it. So this is a one-story building, which for many, many years was an adult store called Fantasy World. That building was taken down in 2016 and replaced with the 5-story modern building, which is now there. That construction finished in 2021, and VSV was their first tenant. It was a beer and wine license at first, but this community board approved a class change to full on-premises liquor over a year ago, in your December 2024 meeting. VSV is going out of business. They're selling the assets to John, Craig, and their team. And they're gonna keep things pretty much the same. VSV is currently a French wine bar serving light French food. John and Craig are gonna turn it into a French wine bar serving a little bit more robust food menu, but still French. Hours of operation that we're proposing are a little bit different than what the current people have. VSV has broader, like in both directions. So the current closing hours are 2 a.m. all days except for Sunday and Monday, which is 1 a.m. We're asking for 2 a.m. across the board. So not that different. Current opening hour for VSV is 3 p.m. all days except for Saturday and Sunday, which is 11 a.m. We're proposing noon all days. So that's a earlier opening on most of the days of the week. The layout's the same, including the sidewalk cafe. This is the same exact sidewalk cafe diagram that was approved by this community board and DOT for VSV. We're looking to keep that same exact diagram and layout. 10 p.m. closing of the sidewalk cafe, no roadway cafe. The method of operation details are also staying basically the same. Background music only, no DJ, no live music, no dancing, no promoters, no promoted events, no TVs, no cover charge, no velvet ropes, no boozy brunches. Fewer buyouts than VSV. Their steps with you are for 24 buyouts a year. We're proposing 6, so it's a lot fewer. I think all told, just to sum it up, obviously from a public perspective, this will be a new business. It's gonna have a new DBA, it's gonna have new operators. But from a quality of life / community board perspective, stipulation perspective, very little is changing with this transfer application. So we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
There's security.
We are proposing, like all John's places, we're proposing 1 security guard as needed. Just if, you know, if needed to manage the sidewalk, make sure that it's orderly, on the sidewalk. No, you know, no loitering, things of that nature.
There's security.
Yeah.
Staff can't do that? I'm just raising it because, I'm just gonna say just the one thing of where, to me, this is different. Right? So when, because I can't say the name either, so VSV came. You know, it was a new building and everything, and they were known, they had another place in the area and then moved into that space, so they had already built a relationship with the community. And so then when they came back in 2024 for their full liquor license, they had this long history with the community in that space and everything else. So I just wanted to say that and get that on the record, because that is why they had so much support for everything that they did and the sidewalk and all of that. And I just wanted to say that, because I think that makes a difference for why everybody was okay with them upgrading to the on-premise, and we didn't have, you know, the whole onslaught of all of that with that. So go ahead.
No, understood. I think that's a fair point to raise. John definitely, I think, wants to address the point you made about security.
Okay.
Before he does, I just want to say one thing, which is, I hear you about VSV. You know, John and his team are also not new to this. And I think that's worth noting as well. Go ahead, John.
In terms of security, it's an expense that we would always rather operate without, and it's more of just keeping order or checking ID or making sure that we're operating responsibly. I mean, really, like I'd rather run all of our venues without that.
Okay. Anybody on the committee have anything, Carter?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think in many respects you need in this day and age
The security.
is security, because and I've seen so many things in the last 6 months to a year that the staff is not a great people to engage with people on problems.
It's
Especially with the
unfortunately
outside
irresponsible.
areas
Yeah.
and that stuff, because I'm just bringing that up, unless you have any more comments about it. Just
That's something that we've been hearing too as well, Carter. The New York City Hospitality Alliance, we had a meeting with the Attorney General about 3 months ago, who was soliciting just a stakeholder meeting. And one thing that was brought up by a number of restaurateurs at that meeting, which I wasn't expecting, was concerns about street safety and interactions with that staff are not equipped to handle.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Katie, did you?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was looking at my phone, but I was trying to
It's
find
fine.
some pictures of VSD. Where I've been concerned about the use of the sandwich board. So just, it's a small matter, not the biggest one I'm gonna bring up, but I've been noticing it because I have to walk by that on my way here to this meeting. Of course, there are more seats outside than inside, which I always raise my eyebrows about. I don't know what.
The only thing I'm just going to say is that this is exactly what we approved the previous one for.
Exactly, and the other thing is, I'm not going to vote for a 2 AM closing ever. I don't think it's right. But, you know, but you are getting more hours. So if I would like you to pull back the closing to at least 1, because you're getting more hours on the other end. I think 2 AM is And that's when you're gonna get your security problems, which is the longer you go after midnight. So. That, you're not surprised by that comment, Max, because I often make that comment.
No, actually, the first time I heard you say that, you sort of as a blanket matter won't vote for two AM. You know, I would just say this is a transfer app and we are keeping the method of operation pretty much the same, and I think that should be worth something.
But you are getting more hours overall.
When you say more, well,
Well, because the other place opened later.
Well, they're getting, the community, the community is hopefully getting lunch. I mean, you know, which is hard to find, that's a valuable asset to the community. And for you're closing at 10 outside?
yes.
Okay, so. VSV closed at 11 Wednesday to Saturday, outside, but that's why I asked you that first.
Well, I was just
But,
gonna
you know,
say,
I mean, it's on 7th Avenue. so,
I think
mean,
that
that,
closing at 10 outside and staying open a little later is on an avenue in a brand new building. These are where we typically don't have issues. And it's not all, everything is the same. I just want to point that out and with. And I wish this was the case more often, previously going back a couple of years, but with the large outside spaces, that's where the impact is predominantly coming from. And so I think that's kind of a better balance and good luck with lunch. Because that's, I think we've talked, or at least I've talked with Donna about that. There's very few places that are able to make those much work here because we just don't have enough people moving around. But if that's good for everybody, if that can work, but.
You feel so moved to give 11 on the side. I'll oppose it. We did put 10 in paperwork, so.
No,
but I
has
asked-
lived on 7th Avenue South with all my windows. It can get loud, particularly if people are lining up. So, there are lots of residents around. So are you, having a reservation system or?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, we would be having a reservation and also. Walgreens, their neighborhood.
Yeah, they put that in there, they'll use a reservation system.
They are.
Okay, so there won't be crowds, okay. The committee have anything else? We'll go to the public. Nancy Paisley, did you? You passed. Okay. Okay, nobody else, we're good, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. The next application is going to be LPB Pasta Shop LLC, doing this as the Cora Bianca. Max, that's you, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. What's the number on this one? So, see, without Eric, I write C8, I write it down in bold type even.
Great, I got it. Thank you. Thanks, Max.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's why.
No, pardon. No changes since the last changes.
I don't need it.
Okay. Good evening again, CB2, Max Bookman, Pizetsky and Bookman. To my right is Mark Barat. He is the founder of La Cora Bianca, which in Italian is the white sheep. This is a casual, family-friendly Italian restaurant brand. There's been 8 locations in New York. Altogether, Mark has had 11 liquor licenses because he has some other restaurants too. This is not his first time in front of you for La Cora Bianca. He was in front of you in 2021 for a location that he opened in the meatpacking district. And in 2019, he was in front of you for his location in Soho on Lafayette in Prince. In 2019, in your resolution supporting his liquor license application, you said this about him: the applicant is known to the community board as a conscientious and successful restaurateur and presented a fine dining concept that would be an asset to the community. And he really hopes that he's lived up to that reputation, or at least that characterization. And I just want to emphasize the family-friendly nature. You know, he's got restaurants in pretty much every neighborhood, including my neighborhood. I've taken my kids there. This is a place that is always filled with neighborhood people. You see your neighbors there. It's filled with strollers. They accommodate you. it really is a true neighborhood restaurant. Anyone who I ever speak to about LPB, they say, I love L'Antico Vinaio. So focusing on this application, this is a location that he'd like to open for the West Village. It's on 7th Avenue South and West 10th Street, southeast corner. This is the mixed-use building that on the second floor has commercial, which was New York Sports Club for many years and is now Temple Fitness. On the ground floor, it was most recently Real Muto, which is now where he is going in. In terms of the application method of operation, very reasonable method of operation, totally commensurate with his L'Antico Vinaio concept. 10 p.m. on Sunday through Wednesday, 11 p.m. Thursday, midnight, Friday and Saturday, background music only, no DJ, no live music, no dancing, all the other stuff that we say no to also, no promoters, promoted events, TVs, cover charges, velvet ropes, boozy brunch. 4 buyouts a year, it's pretty limited. Outdoor dining, sidewalk cafe, we included a DOT diagram for you to have a look at. We didn't pack the seats in, we spaced them out appropriately. No roadway cafe. There's an interesting and unique aspect to this application, which is he's devoting about 1/5 of his space, you can see it on the diagram, to a retail pasta shop under the LPV brand. So he's gonna be making pasta on site and selling it by the package for people to take home with and cook with. So if you're looking at the diagram, so like the bay of like the window bay all the way to the right on the diagram, you can see it looks sort of like a separate storefront. That's gonna be, it's got a separate entrance, but it's also internally connected. And that's gonna be their pasta shop, which we think folks in the neighborhood will like, and is unique to his restaurants. He doesn't have that everywhere else.
That was my question.
Yeah, this would be new, for him, LPB. Outreach, Mark reached out to and met with the usual representatives of the West Village Residents Association. They will undoubtedly speak for themselves in a moment, but I don't think it will surprise anyone to hear that they found Mark to be great. They love the concept, especially the pasta retail, but they do have a blanket opposition to full liquor at this space. And when I step back up, I may have more to say about that. But Mark also met with the residents who live in this building. We had a Zoom meeting that people attended. We flyered for it. The landlord assisted
How
us.
many people attended this time when you did a Zoom meeting?
Our pleas were heard, and like I said, we really like when people attend these because we get a chance to meet with the people who are stand to be most directly impacted by the application, which is the people who live in the building themselves. It was well attended. It is a mixed use building, even though the floor directly above us is commercial, that's Temple, above on the 4th and 5th floor are residential. Most people who were on the call were excited to hear that there would be L'Antico Vinaio coming into their building. A recurring theme on the call is that this little stretch of 7th Avenue South has gotten a little bit too quiet, gets a little too quiet at night, especially with Real Muto gone. There were safety concerns, and people were happy to hear that there'd be a well-lit, well-run, established restaurant brand coming in. Some of them were motivated to write letters, and we submitted those. We got 3 letters, and these letters are great. They're not form letters, they're not petition signatures. Each of these letters was individually written, and they speak to the themes of excitement and safety, and really welcoming them. So these are West Village residents, if you will. They live in the building, and I think their say should be taken into account pretty strongly. So with that, I will pause and be happy to answer any questions you have.
We'll go over the hours again.
Yeah, go over the hours and also go over the seats, if you don't mind.
Sure. Was there a question on the hours? You just want me to restate
Yeah,
them?
just restate them.
Sure. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 p.m. Thursday, 11 p.m. Friday, Saturday, midnight.
And the outside,
Same hours.
the same or?
Outside, what we put on the form for outside is commensurate with closing, but we are interested in hearing what you have to say about that.
And how many seats are outside before I say what I'm?
I have that one moment.
84.
Yeah, you know, we've gone through a few different versions of the plans.
'Cause-
The last I counted up, which was about an hour before I got here, was 80.
80. Okay, so I think on here it said 84.
Yeah,
I did go through and count. And then inside I have 46 tables, 141 seats and one bar with 10 seats, so 151 inside, 84 outside. So I come up with well, my math is wrong, but 200 and something,
So I can tell you for sure, I know we.
35 or something, 235.
Well, let's do it together. So 80, and I of course need a calculator to do math.
Okay,
So I can
80
tell you, we've been
outside?
a little bit inconsistent in the diagram, excuse me, in your papers, because we keep
I said
revising the diagram, but I did count it 3
80
times. It's
outside.
80 outside,
Okay,
okay? Plus 141 seats at tables inside, plus 10 bar seats, that gets 231.
okay.
But Matt,
Yeah.
so you're saying this diagram is inaccurate because there are 84 seats?
No, the diagram, the DOT diagram is the one that is the accurate display of the number of tables and chairs. We have this one.
Oh, okay, that's
you-
not this one.
No, because you guys like to have, you know, when possible, you like to have a DOT version,
Yeah,
and
Okay,
so.
okay,
Yeah.
so there's a discrepancy now.
Yeah, and I'll take responsibility for that. We've been
Okay.
revising this. But so the DOT version that you see, that's what we're going with.
Version, okay.
Well,
So
wait
which
a minute.
table got removed?
1, 2, 3.
So it doesn't really matter.
We removed the table by
That table.
by entrance, yeah.
All right, so, and that's in your packet.
Which one is pulling out?
That one.
We removed
Did
the
you send
table.
that in to us, Max?
Yep.
Okay.
But this is, still has 21 boards. It still is 84.
Okay, so,
It's 80, I counted it.
okay, well, either way, I mean, it's,
Okay, well, everybody's on the 84, I would pick it up with you.
84,
84?
Okay,
84,
sorry.
so we're adding 4 back in, so it's 235.
We were at 86 and we had taken a 2.
Okay, so. And Real Mudo, I believe closed their outside at 10. I think, but let me check that before. So the one thing I just wanted to say that it's a lot of seating. I mean, so just for what Romuto had, they had 44 seats outside and 52 seats inside. That might be part of the reason why they are. No, there, but I'm just, so. Right, so that was 94 total and we're up to 235. I'm just,
Yeah, no,
the
I
impacts of that is a lot. And I would say that the one thing we often say is a lot of that impact is on the outside, you know, so I just wanna see.
I mean, while you're looking, I mean, I'll tell you, Donna, that, we understood that the question about the closing time for the outdoor space would come up tonight, and we're interested in hearing your feedback on that. You know, we were transparent with the residents of the building about it, but we understand that you may have your own views on that, and, we're open to a discussion about the closing time for the outdoor space. Remuto, of course, had the pastries and some other things. I mean, this is much more, other than, there is the pasta component, which we think is great and unique, but this is a much more, restaurant first concept, and we're obviously going to want the number of seats that we can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, go ahead.
In terms of your, being open to the people that live upstairs, did you tell them that there's a potential of 84 people sitting in their front area till 12 o'clock at midnight?
We showed them the diagram that we have, and we told them what the hours of operation would be. There were, I mean, to be honest, there were people who on the call who were a little bit, I'd say, concerned about that. But ultimately, I mean, I don't know if any of them are here. I don't wish to speak for anybody, but the message back was ultimately they felt good
We have letters.
about Mark and the concept, pardon me. sorry about that, about Mark and the concept, and they felt there was a level of trust there and felt that it was worth it as opposed to having what's currently there, which is nothing.
Okay, and you're saying in your submissions to them, you told them that it'd be open till midnight? Cause I don't see that here, that's all.
Yes, on the Zoom call, we told them.
Okay, cause I don't see the letter that you wrote to them, and I only see a few letters here, and nothing about hours and nothing about 84 seats outside.
Yeah, we didn't write a letter to them. The landlord, the building assisted us in getting in touch with the residents who live there and organized this phone call,
Okay.
Zoom call.
And Brian, how many apartments, not people were on the call? Is it on?
How many apartments were on the call?
How many apartments were represented on that call?
I think it's a 9 apartment building or something like that. I think there were 6. Something like that.
10 PM at that place.
Can I ask any more questions? Go ahead. I mean, I think I think we're gonna want to go back on those outdoor hours for sure. I'm speaking for myself, but, I would be curious to see that Rio Moto did not survive. Why do you think they didn't survive? And is there anything in particular that you're doing that you can tell us that we will survive?
Sure. I think that, listen, without wanting to speak negatively about anyone's business or brand, I think, the concept was pretty muddled. They had a 50-seat restaurant together with half the space devoted for standing area for kind of pastries and gelato. And so, gelato is obviously a seasonal business. So I don't think they were utilizing the space in a way that matched the potential to generate revenue. And I also think people probably didn't know what to do with it. Am I going to a restaurant that's also has half of the space as pastries, et cetera? So I think that's part of their issue. We operate 7 restaurants in New York City. We're opening 3 more this year. I'd like to think our brand is pretty respected and loved in the city. We served over 1 million people last year in La Pecora Bianca restaurants. Our Google scores are all 4.8 and above. I'd like to think that we have a stronger brand and operation that will enable us to be successful here for the long term.
Thank you.
Okay, on the page on premises, there's a statement that the occupancy is not permitted in this space. What is it that needs to be amended and why? Since we see this history of the space, I don't get it. How could it not be allowed?
No, the occupancy, their plan, right? Because half of their space was basically devoted to retail and standing, didn't show any tables in half the space. So of course their occupancy was lower. So when we update the CO with our floor plan, we will update the occupancy. There's no reason in terms of exits or bathrooms or things like that, that our occupancy cannot be supported by the DOB. It's just that we have a different use and layout than they do.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. But, people from the public here, so we'll go to the public.
Okay.
I have Elizabeth Sabo, Nancy Paisley. Do I have Augustine Hope also or not? I don't care who goes first, just somebody come on up and start speaking. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again.
Start with your name.
Oh, yeah, I'm Elizabeth Sable with the West 10th Street Residents Association and the West Village Residents Association. We had a really lovely meeting. We've been having very lovely meetings since October of 2020 for the various applications and layovers again and again and again for this particular case. And we have always been very consistent about we cannot support a full liquor license in this huge space with operable windows and a huge frontage. It would dramatically change the quality of life for, maybe the 6 residents in the building, but also at least 100 residents surrounding this building. I personally live right around the corner. I heard Real Moto, it wasn't crazy, but now like doubling the size of that's a lot of people, both indoors and outdoors. If you do, the one concern, Mark is wonderful, but the one concern I have is that when you look up his restaurants with regard to noise, it's off the charts. There's so many comments about customers can't have conversations in these spaces. I'm very concerned about that. And I'm very concerned about the difference between having it can get loud with beer or wine, but add alcohol to that and it's problematic. Finally, this space is so large, it's the key reason why we don't want to support this. Once a liquor license, a full liquor license is attached, it's always attached. And we have urged, we've met with the Ben Susans and we've met with the various applicants over the years. And we said, please, we didn't even want a beer and wine license with that. If you know, it was a grocery store. And we sorely missed that. But start with the beer and wine license. Let's see what happens. Full OP, we cannot support.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, I have to agree with.
Start with your name, please.
Nancy Paisley
Thank
again, I have to agree with Matt. We met with the applicant and we think he's just fine and runs a very fine operation around the city. And if he wanted to come in with a beer and wine license, we would definitely support it. But we cannot support a full liquor license in an enormous space like this, which I don't think the street is too quiet. Please. I also don't understand how he's going to cram in so many more seats outside. I thought Rail Muto had pretty well filled up the available space. If he's doubling the tables, that is a problem.
I'll just say one thing with Ramuja, they went to the northern part of the entry with their sidewalk seating.
No, they had seating.
I know they did, but I don't know that they were supposed
Rail
to.
Muto had seating all along, all the way up. In fact, past they had several tables that were past their space. But I agree that they had a very muddled concept. They devoted an enormous amount of space to selling stuff that was did not bring in a lot of revenue. I firmly think that if the space were to be purely beer and wine, but all completely a restaurant, it would be, has every chance of being successful. As far as the pastry shop, the pasta shop goes, I mean, that's fine, but there's lots of places to get pasta. If I want pasta, I can go to Raffetto. There's plenty of upscale grocery stores that have perfectly good pasta. That doesn't persuade me. We have an oversaturation in this neighborhood, as you know, of licenses. And a full license in a huge space is not good for the neighborhood. In order to have a full license, the applicant must show a community benefit. I don't see one here. There's plenty of other places to get pasta. There's plenty of other places to eat and drink. Casual or upscale, Italian or otherwise. I don't think this applicant has met the burden of showing that this is something that would benefit the community. I missed the grocery store. That was a community benefit. Before, the prior building had a dry cleaner. That was a community benefit. Another licensed restaurant is not a community benefit. And I would ask that this one at most be scaled down to beer and wine. Thank you.
Thank you. Augustine?
Western Hope West Village Residents Association. I don't know whether it's a delicious irony or absolutely infuriating when the lawyer, Mr. Bookman, for this thing says that we should pay close attention to what the most impacted people are on this. Because if we should do that, with his campaign to fill us with year-round roadway dining in our neighborhood, why the heck aren't they paying close attention to the people most impacted on this? It's outrageous, I'm sorry. On this one, we are overwhelmed with OPs in our, as I've said before, 1 in 10 liquor licenses, 1 in 10 retail spaces had liquor licenses in year 2000, now it's 1 in 3. This is how it keeps happening. As of right, they get a wine and beer and we can't fight it. And then it seems almost as of right, they get an OP and we can't fight it. Absolutely, we've had enough. Draw a line. We are the most impacted in the city. We need to be heard on this one. So we think that a wine and beer business can do very well in our neighborhood. We have examples of that, like Malatesta. Been in business for 25 years, doing absolutely fine. They do not need an OP to be a successful business. Enough of that. Another thing is wonderful that they're going to do a pasta shop. Agreed with that. Terrific. But there's no reason for that space to be licensed. And there's no reasons for that unlicensed space to have sidewalk tables outside it. So if you're going to do a public benefit and have a pasta shop, there should be no license on it. Take that out of your plan. So I strongly ask you to deny this. It's not what we need for our community. Let's have something that we do need. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here on this? No? Okay.
Just,
Or, yeah.
so I have a question for all the residents. This is kind of a little unique in that the property owner developed residential above it, which is something that we need in our community. And he's also personally has licenses. He has iconic locations in our community that are world renowned that people come to our community for. And I think he sent some compelling letters to us as a community board in asking what he could put in this location that would work. And I think that we have an application before us that has an experienced operator, that has a large outdoor area that they're willing to discuss, that did have a previous outdoor license here. And it leaves us in a situation where we know that the previous operator that was there was not a very good use of the space and it just didn't work. And Gourmet Garage went out of business. I mean, so we're left in a spot where some of the, I think one of the letters said it's not the community's job to make a business work, but at the same time, these are all the respected people in our community who operate places, who've done things, and they're saying, well, what can we do? And just saying no doesn't seem like an option for us. So what do we do? And it's on an avenue. This is where these types of businesses should be. It's not on the interior area. So we're left in a difficult spot, and it's just hard for me to understand what the, if there is a right answer, even where we navigate within it, because a lot of what the residents, where you guys are saying is it's impactful from the overarching issue, but we're looking at this individual application here. So, and the people in the building who live there say they want somebody filling the space, and the landlord has specifically kept the space vacant on purpose as he tried to find the right use. So it's a little bit different, I think, than most applications that come before us in that case, and with all those elements. So we're left in a very difficult spot, and it seems that there's some reasonable elements in here. I'm just not sure where we go as a committee. So I think that that's what we'll ultimately end up talking about. So I'm just asking. you guys to
I'm not
address
sure
it.
what the question is, but, what is the exact question?
Well, I laid it
What
out.
kind
Do you
of
have any
business
comments or
relates
not? I
to
mean, if
your-
you're just a hard no, that's fine, but I think that this is people in our community who are coming to try to develop their property, open a business, the people who are knowledgeable about how to run businesses, and they're saying this is what we need for this property to work. So,
Why would that be any different than on Hudson Street or West Fourth Street or anywhere else, in any single location in the West Village? Okay, we're gonna have the same conversation.
well, I
This
just
is
think
the
it's
only
been a
people that they could find to take the space.
Well, I think it's not just finding anybody. I think that there is a lot of thought that went into this and finding a reputable, experienced operator that this board has commented on. And I think that having a succession of failed businesses and models that don't work isn't really in everybody's interest. I mean,
Don't Garage is not a failed business.
they're not there, right?
Well, do you know why they're not there?
Tell me.
Because the rent was raised to $1 million a year.
Okay,
Right.
let's just.
And is that,
And is he
is
gonna
that
get that
not the
now?
market
No,
rate?
they got a little ahead of their skis when it came to charging so much rent. But the whole game here seems to be not to help the community, but to get the most maximum possible rent out of the space. Which is why we have such massive inflation on retail spaces now, that people who want to start a small business or start up business or a hardware shop or a salon, or you name it, that would serve our community can no longer afford these spaces. So.
Yeah, I mean,
the question to
I know
you
because
then is, what do we do?
our local hardware store struggles, but there's something called Amazon that delivers same day or the next day. And Home Depot as well delivers that way, and that's what also is hurting our small businesses. Because the community itself doesn't
Of
shop
course,
at
it's
the
all
businesses.
helping, all hurting our small businesses, but right next door to me, I had a salon,
Okay.
hairdresser salon, paying $7,000 a month. Guess what? It's now part of a restaurant charging $15,000 a month. That's inflation. That's it's an affordability question. And if you keep on encouraging these people to open bars and restaurants, with OP licenses catering to a tourist trade, because we now have more seats in the West Village than we have residents. How is that possible? Where is the public interest in that?
Well, it's not necessarily my argument, but I will tell you, it's in every tourist book that's published in the world. And that's a responsibility that our community has right now, and is upholding that, and what is it? And I just say that because if I go to the iconic locations on Bleecker Street, they're not iconic anymore, and people come here looking for those things, but that's why people are coming to New York City. I just put that out there because we've gone through this with a world-renowned jazz club that came to us
So the
last month,
people who
and
live
so.
here have no say.
Nobody is saying that, we're put in a position here where we have all these good elements. And you're asking us to just say no on principle, but we have to hear each application on its individual basis, and it's very difficult for us to do that, because the biggest impact on the residents seems to be the outdoor area. As far as the noise, and it's on an avenue. And that's what we generally ask people to go to, so.
So we're suggesting you reduce the size of the outdoor area, and certainly reduce the hours to 10 PM. We're asking for there not to be an OP, but a wine and beer. We can do no more than to ask. You have to make your own decision on this one, but we don't think it is in the public interest, and we're wondering whether they can prove that it's in the public interest, maybe in the interest of the tourist trade. If that's the public interest, I could. Where are we headed to? We're headed to Urban Street. That's what our future is. And we need you guys to just draw a red line somewhere and say, no, stop. Please, thank you.
I'm just gonna say thank you to Donna for all the time she spends doing that, because we have done it.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do, but we have a situation here where that hard line is maybe not realistic, and that's why we're asking
So I think he
from
said.
you guys for something to try to have this space, which is on an avenue. And if you want to go back in history, it was licensed with some places that had sharp elbows in the past in this same space. So it's just, this is where it is. And, that's a tough spot for us. to the end, so.
Okay, so when we come back for a smaller space, you'll understand our feelings about this. I think you do.
Well, yeah,
Well, we have, I mean, you're
We
not
have.
here at all the meetings, we do it every month, I mean.
okay.
We
Can we
still
now
have-
insert ourselves doing this back and forth for this?
Things. I really
Okay, just keep
dispute
it-
this characterization that, we have a hard line that is impossible. I don't understand this whatsoever. We've asked to continue
Well, I
the
think-
beer and wine license, as we've asked in many other situations. And I don't see that as unreasonable. I don't see you telling us why it is critical for it to be a full OP license. Now, yes, you're trying to separate out the location from the proprietor. They can't be separated. This is a huge space and a huge amount of people. And are you representing the community or are you representing the tourists?
I'll say one
No,
thing.
that's a
to
great,
that.
and I wish that people from the community would apply to the community board, and I'll just end it on that, so.
Okay.
We're not gonna keep doing that. We got 2 more minutes of this and that's it. Then we're going back to the applicant because I'm not spending all night sitting here doing this.
I won't take 2 minutes. I just want to say that to Carter, that is true, these applications are reviewed on an individual basis. And you do consider the individual situation, but I think it is also appropriate for this committee to consider the impact on the community as a whole, beyond an individual location. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
A few comments in response. First of all, for 10 PM outdoors, we've talked about it, that's fine.
Good, step 1.
They reduce the number of
Just
just to cut to the
let's
chase
see
right
what
there.
they.
Um, Yeah, I mean, so in terms of, we heard this feedback, from Mr. Hope, in the outreach, and you heard it tonight as well, sort of, other restaurants do just fine with beer and wine. Mark needs full liquor because he has a formula, and it's a formula that works. He has a brand, and it's a brand that works. And I'm not comparing him to McDonald's and what I'm about to say, but just like you go to any McDonald's anywhere in the world, you get the same thing. Mark has a very, very strong brand, and wherever you go to a La Picora Bianca, you need to be able to get the same menu. His menu includes things like Aperol spritzes, other limited spirit selections. It's not the core of their business model, but it is part of the brand. It's part of the formula that works. He's at Mark. I've been working with him for years. He's a very sophisticated restaurateur. I see them all. He is at the top tier of financial sophistication. He knows down to every penny that he expects to make. And this business model at this location works with full liquor. It doesn't work with beer and wine. And so that's number one. Number two is, and I think I don't think it's worth spending a lot of time on, but what you heard from the opposition, from the Residents Association is a blanket policy. And they've been transparent about that. Their blanket policy is drawing a line on full liquor here. And you've had a majority of the members of the State Liquor Authority over the course of the last several board meetings, in cases involving this community board and not, saying that they don't do blanket policies, and they've reaffirmed that. And whether that's for hours of operation or anything else, full liquor or not, you have to look at the individual circumstances. And I think in this case, Carter made some cogent points. And these were points that were also made at the last Real Muto hearing as well, which is that when you look at the actual 500-foot law factors here, it really does tilt in our favor. This is not a destination restaurant by any stretch of the imagination. Everybody could agree with that. You're not going to have the type of for-hire vehicle and Uber traffic of people coming outside of the neighborhood to come to this restaurant. They don't need to. They already have one in their own neighborhood. There's La Picora Bianca in almost every neighborhood. You're not going to have the noise issues because the hours of operation are reasonable. And you heard what we just said about 10 p.m. for the outdoor dining. Yes, lines sometimes do get drawn, and I definitely understand the frustration, but from someone who goes to the full board a lot, and I think Donna could attest to this, and Carter used to, haven't seen you there much recently, but I'm sure could attest to this too, is at least the current full board, they draw the line at nightlife. I mean, that is where I've seen them draw the line, and this, and this is sort of like, the battle. The battle that the Residents Association is fighting against this location is not really against La Pecora Bianca. It's against the next application. Because they are concerned with the sequence of events where it has beer and wine and then it becomes full liquor. But it's not this application that they're really concerned with. It's the next one. They're worried about La Pecora Bianca going out of business in 10 years and what's gonna happen with the next one. And although I certainly appreciate that level of 3D chess, the truth is that's not the way that the Liquor Authority looks at things. They look at things on a case-by-case basis, not about what next application might come down the line. And this application is about the best you're gonna get as it relates to full liquor. I think I may just have one or two other points very quickly. Well, I was planning on raising this, but it was already raised. It's just not correct to say that this place was never previously had an OP license. Katie brought this up at the Real Muto hearing. She said that something to the effect of, I'm old enough to remember the 1990s, and there was a nightclub in there. I watched that video. I mean, I remember the 90s too.
You're being
Not the same way.
I used that meeting to look it up. What you said at the meeting, I looked it up, and there's a record on this. There was a nightclub here in the 90s, and I would venture to say there might be some people in this room who were alive in the 60s. And when the Landmarks Preservation Commission designated the Greenwich Village Historic District in 1969 in their designation document for the building that was in this footprint, they noted that there was a nightclub there. So I don't wish to, trade ironies, with Mr. Hope and who's got the more ironic irony here, but I think it's ironic for a Village Preservation Association to be fighting a full liquor license when.
Well, I'm just gonna correct you, they're not the Village Preservation, they're just a block.
No, association that's purpose is to preserve the village for what it was, is fighting a full liquor license when LPC designated this location, there was a nightlife establishment there.
Max, it was a grocery store
For
for a
many
long
years.
time.
Okay,
So
come on,
that's where they're,
We don't get to arbitrarily draw lines about when.
no, but we're not arbitrarily drawing lines at all, okay? So this doesn't help.
You need a microphone.
It doesn't help.
You're speaking, you need to use a microphone.
It doesn't help, okay? It doesn't help to say it was a nightclub, okay? Because it was a grocery store too.
I just think we need the full picture.
The full picture is that it was a grocery store, and now
It's all the full
now we're
picture.
going back to the nightclub. So let's stop.
Okay, so we've got you at 10 PM outside.
That's right.
Okay. Is there any reduction in tables outside? I mean,
Tell them
the,
what was there before.
well, I told him what was there before, but that wasn't what I was going to ask him. What I was going to ask him was if he'd remove the tables in front of the pasta area to bring it down to 34 tables and 68 seats, which is more than was there before, but I think is somewhat of a
Hold on, sorry.
little bit of a so it's removing, I think I'm looking at the right I'm looking at this diagram,
Yeah.
Max, because that diagram doesn't show me the pasta shop.
It does say door to pasta retail, but,
There and far right hand side.
and that bay, I mean, Donna, that bay from where it says door to pasta retail, and if you travel left until you step
Yep,
with
that's
X,
it.
that's the bay that covered the pasta shop.
So I had those 4 tops, so those 16 seats was what I was looking at,
Oh, I see.
which still gives you significantly more than Real Muto had. I mean, it still gives you 68 seats out there. And makes it that your pasta area, I mean, I think Augustine had, or whichever one of the public said something about that the pasta area for that is slightly separate use than the other, so that was.
Thank you for proposing that, Donna. Before we opine on that, were there any other,
Okay, and then I will say, the doors are closing at 10 o'clock, because that's all an operable
Yes, yeah.
front, and so the one thing I would ask you. Is because I miss you in meatpacking. It's very nice. It wasn't. So it does get loud inside. I mean, it just gets loud inside, and you didn't have an operable facade there, so it doesn't make any difference, but here you do. So maybe not having speakers by the window or not having it get at that level, because it's a lot of people inside and people all on their own make a lot of noise. So having that music be coming out onto 7th Avenue would not be good. especially before the doors are closed. So that would be something I would.
So if I understand that, so that's no speakers.
There's no speakers right by the door, just not turn, I mean, because it does crank up.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
you
his
know,
place-
Mark is saying that it cranks up, so I'm not saying it's not background, but it's a loud background as opposed to a soft background. And with all those people in there, you will hear all that out on the street in addition to the music, so maybe keep it at that softer levels, the real background levels until those doors are closed. And
Understand.
I mean, as you said, he's a professional operator, so I don't want to tell him how to mitigate that music outside.
Understand the concern.
Yeah.
Mark, you did tell us you would keep.
Elizabeth, no, no, well, if you know, we're not doing the back and forth, everybody had their time here.
You would keep them.
Okay, well,
In return for their support. Which we
okay,
not got.
so
Okay.
that's
all I
how that
wanted to
works. Okay,
Um,
does anybody else from the committee before Max answers have anything else to put on Max's plate?
Yes.
Brian,
So just to clarify, then you don't have any restaurants without an OP?
that's
Correct.
That's correct.
Correct.
Thank you.
We're going to take your suggestion and agree to eliminate those 4 tables, those 4 tops that are in front of the pasta retail.
thank you, so that's 34 tables and 68 seats is what I have.
As well as your suggestion about however you want to write that stip on no speakers in front of the side.
Does anybody else from the committee have anything?
34 seats and 34 tables.
Tables and 68 seats. Okay. I think we'll discuss it in this meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thanks a lot. I'm sorry to have you gone and meet something better.
I appreciate that, yeah.
Okay. The next application is going to be Miles on Hudson LLC, 435 Hudson Street. C5. Is anything new in here?
We made some changes Tuesday, but it looks like it's been updated. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Farina.
Okay, Lindsay, make sure you speak in, yeah,
Is this better? I turned you a little bit.
yeah.
Okay. Lindsay Farina, representing Miles on Hudson, 435 Hudson Street. The applicant's principals currently hold alcoholic beverage licenses for pre-existing restaurants in New York City, which are 11 Madison Park, a restaurant with 3 Michelin stars, and also Nomad Restaurant and Made Nice. I wanted to mention that renowned chef Daniel Hoon will be overseeing this location and splitting his time between this restaurant and 11 Madison Park. Our application will be for an upscale restaurant with both indoor and outdoor dining. Our hours of operation, 7 days a week, will be noon until 2 a.m. Our last seating will be at 11 p.m., but we're looking for the extra time to allow for people to relax and consume their food and beverages. The only entertainment that we would have on a regular basis would be piped in background music. We did ask for the ability to have DJs or live music on occasion, but that would only be for private parties if someone were to book a corporate event or a birthday party. We're not looking for this to become an entertainment venue with DJs or live music on a regular basis. With me today, I have Marsha Regan and Andrew Chandler, and we're here to answer any questions that you have.
And what are their positions with?
Marsha is CFO and managing partner, and Andrew is director of operations and managing partner.
Where in the building? Where in the building?
It's where N was, N Brasserie.
Correct.
Yes.
Does that help you?
I'm just for everybody.
For everybody, so where is that in the building?
That's Hudson and Leroy on the south side of the street,
At the corner?
on a corner.
The entry is north of the corner,
Yeah,
but the premises goes down to the corner and wraps it.
yes.
Okay. There's no TVs. It's 38 tables and what, 153 seats and 15 at the bar,
15 at the bar, correct.
15 at the bar, so that's 168 inside, and then you're looking for a sidewalk cafe
Yes, please.
Yes, 32 seats would be proposed for outdoor seating.
on Leroy.
Correct.
Yes.
No, it's on Leroy.
For our lease, we're only allowed to.
Yeah.
Speak into the microphone.
For the lease, we're only allowed to have seating on lease.
And that closes at 11, yeah. It was there before.
What's that?
Oh. They may not have had it, but okay, so the resolution for it. Just telling you what was there. Look at the drawing. And they may not have, but I do. Okay, so the DJs and the live music, for the private parties, is this when it's a whole buyout of the whole place?
No, that's correct.
And how often do you think you'll be doing that?
We believe a handful of times per year, so not very frequent.
6 times, is that what a handful
I
is?
think 16, fair. Thank you.
And that would still, though, the DJ, would it be live music, would that be amplified live music or acoustic live music?
Both.
Oh,
Would that be going, then that wouldn't be going through your sound system if it's live music?
it would be amplified. There would be a speaker that they would bring in.
So that would be not at background levels, that would be at entertainment levels.
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna speak for myself, I don't know, but I'm okay with that, because, you know, this isn't a wedding venue or something like that normal, I mean, the private parties, people do corporate events and everything like that, but they don't usually then bring in, unless it's an event type of space, you're not usually having amplified music and DJs coming in, to my knowledge, at most restaurants, when you have a corporate event or buyout like that. So I would prefer it to just remain as your normal method of operation, but you have the buyout, or if anything, have acoustic live music in there, you know, but not anything.
No, I definitely see where you're coming from. I will admit, even at 11 Madison Park, a 3 Michelin star restaurant, I would say on occasion, once a year for our gala, for fundraising for Rethink, we have a band come out, they put a few very small speakers where it's slightly above background, but it's not like you're going to a nightlife. You know, and that's really where we're looking for this is, we do fundraise often for Rethink, which is Daniel's on the board.
Yeah.
With this new location, we very much envision that gala would be there once a year. Really fundraising for Rethink, and that's really the decibel level that we look at, you know, just slightly above background noise.
Okay. Okay, and then, the other thing I noticed on your sidewalk plan that I just want to point out to you, it says removable waste station. You can't have any of the busing stations outside. I don't know if everybody's aware of that, but that falls under the Department of Health things for outdoor dining. You may not process food or store food, utensils, or food equipment in the outdoor dining setup. And then a utensil is defined as any tableware such as knives, forks, spoons, glasses, cups, dishes, and the like, and kitchenware, implements, or containers used for storage, preparation, transfer, conveyance, or service of food.
We're happy
So
to comply.
that can't,
So then we would just have like a POS printer, you know, just to run the credit card
something
payment.
which I don't even know if you're supposed to have that out there.
Stipulate to that.
I mean, that's our stipulations for everybody on the outside saying,
think they're supposed to have anything.
I don't think you're supposed to have anything
Tables
out
and
there.
chairs.
I don't think you're supposed, yeah, it's just the tables and chairs easily removable, and that's it. And then there's no subwoofers with these, nobody will be bringing in any, if we're okay with the music. And I think that's it for my questions. Does anybody from the committee, Brian?
Well, thank you for that sidewalk seating. I understand your lease doesn't allow you to have any seating on Hudson. Unless there's a secret entrance, it's a long way from your front door or even if there's a service door
There's a door.
to the.
There is a
to the
service
seat.
door on Leroy. There's
Right.
actually two. There's a loading dock that's mainly for just deliveries and garbage pickup. And right beside that is a service entrance for the team as well as an emergency egress for the guests and patrons.
All right, so there's a full bay between that service door and your seating arrangement. And these, right now, the seating arrangement has the passageway blocked off from that service door. So you would have to violate the sidewalk, clear space in order to serve the.
No, isn't this the door?
No.
That's not the door, that's the door.
Door is there. No, the door's right
The
here.
door is right here.
It's the door. That's not the one, not the one that you're talking about.
This is Leroy Street. This is a door. This is Leroy Street, this is a door.
Yeah. So we're debating amongst ourselves.
Would you
Your
somebody
diagram
come over
shows
here
a
and-
door.
Thank you.
And if necessary, we would be happy to serve through the front door.
I'll just put.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So this is Leroy.
Yeah, so then we would have to service to the front door. That
This
is
you
correct.
can't service from here.
No, you can't.
No, that's a structural pillar.
That's a structure.
This is structural pillar.
Okay, well, then-
You did acknowledge that this bay right next door is the gym for the neighboring tenant that's actually on the basement level. That is our entranceway, so we would have to service to the front.
Okay, so then I'm gonna say thank you, Brian.
Thank you for good to know.
With that, pointing that out
Didn't make any sense.
doesn't mean it's prohibited. I believe that there is probably, that's pretty wide sidewalk on Hudson. I believe that there would be a passageway that would not interfere with the sidewalk clearance. But I just have to remark, it's a long way for service. So, thank you.
I'm gonna say this is a new one on me because I'm not even sure how that works with the sidewalk cafe rules, because the sidewalk cafe rules are you have to serve from within your sidewalk cafe. And you're traveling all the way down the sidewalk that's not part of your sidewalk cafe.
Donna, I
Go
think
ahead,
that
so is that,
yeah, I think that even if they make the other part of their sidewalk cafe,
Right.
they have tables and chairs, it's compliant with their lease.
and then they can service it, so just something, yeah,
So yeah, if we need to update the drawing to reflect this for the board wrap.
Yeah. okay, because somehow. The service need to know to stay next to the building, so that.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's it for me. Anybody else have anything? Katie? So, are either of you investors in this,
We're both actually.
okay, so you are.
I've been there 16 years, Chandler, so that was 13 years. So We don't have money up. but-
But you are.
And Russo is way down there.
If
Is
we're-
that, do they meet the definition of principal? Okay, I just want to make sure. The other thing is, on your application, you state that the neighboring buildings are commercial, and it's really not true at all. Building across the street is Printing House, a huge residential. On Hudson Street, it's all residential and up, St. Luke's Place. And, are we clear on what the hours of, so I think you should correct that, or at least understand your neighborhood better. You are in a huge commercial building, but the surrounding is very residential.
Okay.
What about the hours of the sidewalk cafe? What are the?
Yeah, we're comfortable with the service would complete at 10 PM.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, because we have
Especially
some
for the
letters
community, we wanna be
from. And no music or, I mean, it's not allowed to have music
not
outside, but that
allowed,
was
so-
their concern. Danny understood, thank you. So in terms of, so nobody, your last seating's at 11, so there are no new patrons after 11 o'clock.
Correct.
There's not, you don't take walk-ins
We
after
don't take
11.
walk-ins after 11
Okay,
o'clock.
all right, so the last entry is 11 PM.
Yes, which,
Okay. Does anybody else have anything?
What? Why does the landlord not want you to be on Hudson Street? Did you get any answer for that?
Don't know.
Okay, all right. I don't understand that, but anyway, the restaurant beforehand did not have any outdoor seating, so all I would say is, if that changes, you have to come back for alteration, at least in terms of Hudson Street, but it always made more sense to me to be on Hudson Street, but that's, okay, thank you, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
good. Yeah,
fair.
we would
Is
file
there
an
anybody here
alteration.
from the public on this? Augustine?
Thank you.
Wait, don't go any, I mean, just sit, you're not
Yeah.
done because you have the problem. Thank you.
Hudson Hope West Village Residents Association. Did I miss something, but what are the closing times we're talking about here?
2 a.m.
This
The
one-
last entry is at 11 p.m.
Right,
No customers after 11 p.m.
that's very late for our neighborhood.
Okay.
The previous restaurant, my understanding is they were 10 and 11, 10 weekdays and 11.
No, they were not.
They had 2 a.m.
They had, I mean, this is, they may not have operated that way, but this is what they had.
Okay, so they didn't operate that way, so, but these people are saying that they are going to.
Sure how they
operate that
operate,
way.
they are.
Can we shape do 12 and 1 on this one, because it's much more commensurate with Hudson Street in our neighborhood.
Relax.
The outside that matters.
Is there any reduction in the hours?
We would like to keep the hours as proposed and with the doors being locked at 2 a.m. With the understanding our last seating will be at 11.
They're
p.m.
talking to us, yeah.
Yeah, it's just basically giving people enough time to finish. So there is a chance that 2 a.m. might be later than what is actually happening, but we want the flexibility.
Okay. All right, anybody from the committee? Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you
All right,
very
thanks.
much.
Okay, last one, SH Resto, New York City Corp. for 18420 West 13th Street, on premise for a restaurant. And Bob says you get to get free out of the court next time you're back.
I've never gotten.
for- You never have?
You've been
I
offered
think
many
you-
times.
I think,
I've ever been.
You've been.
yeah. I think you did pretty good though the other night you were in it and
Oh, yeah. they're-
your applicant maybe wasn't so lucky, but I'm sorry.
I know I offered you it.
We have an updated survey on this one, it's the only difference.
What's updated?
The survey, we had a professional survey done as opposed to just the, plans.
Where is it? Here. Is it different than those?
It's a little bit different. And it also shows the use of the neighborhood.
Oh.
Which survey? Oh,
Right
This
there.
one?
Yep,
Yeah,
and a few pages.
yeah, I got it.
So good evening, Manhattan Community Board Two, Ben Svinsky, Bernstein, Rado, and Savinsky here tonight on behalf of SH Resto NYC Corp. This is an application for a full on-premises liquor license to be used as a restaurant at 418-420 West 13th Street. On 13th Street between Washington and 9th Avenue. It was Fig and Olive since 2010 to I think 2023. They surrendered their liquor license in 2024. I have with me here the principals of the license. This is Nadir and Patrick Marzouk. They have been running restaurants in Canada for about 20 years. Their most recent and successful is a Mexican restaurant called Silent H, which they operate in Toronto on King Street, which is a busy street. The busiest street. It is authentic Mexican cuisine. They think it's something that's lacking here in New York City. They look at our Tex-Mex, they look at our Americanized Mexican cuisine, and they kind of laugh at it. And so they want to bring that to this area. I'll let them go through their background a little bit. Let me just take you quickly through this application. So, as I said, it is authentic Mexican cuisine, but it has a modern twist to it. All the recipes and the menu has been developed by their head chef, Gerardo Alvarez. They're all family recipes that he grew up with. And that he puts on the menu. Every single dish on there means an awful lot to him. You can take a look at the menu on there. It changes seasonally, but you're always going to have substantial dishes here. There's chicken al pastor, there's ribeye steak, there's tomahawk steak, and they all have an authentic Mexican basis to them. You can look at the diagram that we put it in there. The setup is pretty much the same as Fig and Olive. They are going to be doing aesthetic changes to it,
but the tables and seats are all pretty much the same. There are 42 tables, 154 seats, 1 stand-up bar, and 20 bar stools. Part of the seating there also is an open concept kitchen, so you could look in and you could see the chef preparing the food. Primarily, they're going to be using recorded background music, but they are also going to be using DJ, and we are asking for DJ 7 nights a week. The DJ, though, is going to be piped into the house system. They're not bringing in any speakers, and this is something that they do in Toronto. It brings atmosphere to the space, but it is considered background. We're not doing entertainment level DJ. That's not what this is about. It is part of the experience. Hours of operation during the week, talking Sunday through Wednesday, we're looking for an 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're looking for 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. They are going to be serving lunch and dinner daily. We had a call with some of the residents who live nearby. This is West 13th Street between 9th and Washington, so there really isn't any residential right there. But they brought up the concept of brunch, boozy brunch. Nadir was on the call. I don't think they do that in Canada, so he didn't really know from it, but absolutely no boozy brunch. It is going to be lunch daily. There is no outdoor space associated with this. They don't have sidewalk cafe. They don't have roadbed. There's no terrace. There's no backyard. There's no operable windows in the front of the space. We did include in the application a security guard. And the reason for that is in Toronto, they are required to have a security guard with a liquor license. So they thought that they had to have it here. They don't really want a security guard, but they do have a host who stands outside and directs people, welcomes people in. They also inside have a little bit of a lobby area where people can line up. They're not going to have any velvet ropes. There's not going to be any lines outside because they have that vestibule. We're happy, based on that conversation before, we're happy to keep it as a licensed security guard, but we're also happy to just have it as a host who kind of controls traffic and controls people coming in from the outside. On the call that we had with some members of the community, the biggest concern, I would say, and I don't want to speak for anybody from the community, was traffic. Apparently, the Little West 12th Street turn to 9th Avenue and then turn onto West 13th Street causes a lot of problems. And we've taken a few days to think about what we can do here. And we have some pretty novel solutions. One, we are going to have this host outside or security guard who's going to make sure that if any black cars or cabs come, that they are moved along quickly, that people get out. Two, that host or security guard at the end of the night is going to be directing people to the corner of Washington, not to 9th Avenue. We do have the benefit here in that we are close to Washington Street. We're almost at the corner. The Samsung store is there and we're right there. So it's easy to tell people, go over there to catch a cab. Additionally, we're going to reach out to Google Maps and Uber. And I think Uber uses Google Maps. And we're going to have the pickup spot put at the corner of Washington and West 13th Street. So that if somebody calls an Uber, it's going to go there. It's going to direct them there. And then also our host is going to tell them, please go to the corner of West 13th and Washington. Additionally, we are going to work with we're going to try to work with some of the other businesses on the block to get them to kind of go along with this idea so that we can make it better for everyone. These guys are the first ones to tell you that the customer experience is the most important for them. And if customers have to wait a very long time to get a car or to get there, they're going to be upset and they're going to start the evening off wrong. Finally, they've reached out to a few garages in the area and they're going to try to set up preferential rates. They're going to put on their website not only that they encourage people to come by public transportation, but also the idea about West 13th Street and Washington Street being the pickup and drop off spot, and also that they have these preferential garages if you do decide to drive down here. That's pretty much it.
There's also a taxi stand just by the, okay. So I think that the other concern with the community, I was on that call because I do live in the neighborhood, so I was there strictly as a resident of the community. And I think we got letters from both Zach and Joyce sent in letters. So the concern was the traffic. And then the other big concern is the DJ. And not having any, is there a DJ booth? I think there was concern over having a DJ booth in there. Or
We're trying to figure out where to put the.
come up to the microphone.
We're trying, well, first, yeah, my name is Patrick Marsu. We're obviously brothers. and very passionate, and we're, you know, we've been in business for many years. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody here for their time. You know, it's been a long day.
Late and it's no.
And thank you for, you know, watching all of everything that's going on. So thank you once again. I know that's not recognized. But first and foremost, we've been operators for 20 years. And you know, to his point, number one of our priorities is our patrons. We don't want them waiting, which also affects the community. So, and our number two is always taking care of the community, right? So we've always been very gracious and doing everything in our possible power to take care of everybody. That's our business, hospitality, including the community, right? In regards to the DJ, we are not sure, again, we're finalizing the design, but it should be, we're aiming to put it behind the bar somewhere there so that, you know, it's not kind of like a focal point.
But the bar is sort of right in the middle of the space.
Sorry?
Isn't the bar is
Right, but he
in the
wouldn't be in the
middle?
middle, because the bartender needs to be in the middle. He would be like on the side of the bar somewhere. That's,
Maybe it's important, we can speak a little bit to the purpose of the DJ within the space. Yeah, my name is Nader Marzouk, also brothers with Patrick. So the main purpose of the DJ is to have a human presence in regards to creating that background atmosphere for people. Just having a playlist play, we found sometimes misses the mark. We would have a music, some kind of background music play, and all of a sudden that playlist changes and it's playing something that is different to the ambiance that we're trying to create. Having a human that's there that gets an idea of the people that are within the space is able to curate a playlist for them. Even background music is essential to the full experience. It's not about the volume, it's about the music selection and curating an experience for our guests. And a human element there, to be honest, as the years come by and more machinery and automation comes, having a human involved in this loop makes a big, big difference.
I want to point out that generally when you hear DJ, you think nightclub, you think bar. That's really not what this is. And if there was any space to have a DJ, it would kind of be this one, just because there's no residential right here. We have the RH guest house behind us. We have, it's all commercial. And the idea behind DJ every day is to give that customer the same experience on a Wednesday that they will get on a Saturday night. And again, we're willing to stipulate to anything to make sure that you know that we are keeping the volume down within background levels. That includes putting a limiter on the system, of course, plugging into the house system, not allowing any speakers, things like that. I mean, that's just to give the community some comfort about what these guys are doing.
I may add a little bit more context to what we're developing and kind of where this kind of came, how we're not Mexican, but one of my favorite cuisines is Mexican. Being in Toronto, it's very cultured and there's a lot of different cuisines. I love food, I'm a big foodie. So when Chef the whole menu is built around his childhood and him growing up in Mexico and recipes from his family and his grandparents and his parents and everything like that. And it was a unique story because we wanted to open up a new space, a unique space revolved around cuisine and a good chef. And it was, I believe in kind of things falling into place and meant to be when you're doing good upon people, that things will always fall into place for you. And it's a really nice story to hear about. I took my friend to a game and he said, well, what's new? Well, we signed a property in Toronto. We don't know what the concept will be as of yet. And I said, but I want to revolve this project around our food. I want the food to be a wow. And whether it's a French place, we'll build a French restaurant. If it's an Italian place, we'll build an Italian restaurant. And I'll take my time, we'll take our time finding a really good chef to be a partner with us, and building the place around him. And, you know, we just need to find a really good chef that's a good person. And he starts tearing up and I'm like, what's going on? And this is literally the night after we signed the lease for the property, not knowing what kind of concept we were doing. And he goes to me, it gives me chills every time I say it. And he goes to me and he's like, he's tearing up. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, my brother-in-law just called me before coming into the stadium. And he's from Mexico and he wants to move his life and change his life and have a better life. And he's one of the best chefs I've ever known. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, what are the odds of that? So he flies in and we try his cuisine and it was the best meal I've ever had in my life.
Some of the dishes are still on the menu, right?
Today, yeah, from that tasting that we had. And yeah, so he moved his entire life and, you know, and then became Silent H and it became a massive success in Toronto. And we want to bring that here to New York. Just like you mentioned, there's that Mexican place next door, we went there, it's more Tex-Mex, not authentic Mexican cuisine.
We're very excited to have the neighborhood experience. What
Yeah.
I know,
Microphone.
yeah, we're super excited to have the neighborhood experience. What we know is going to be some exceptional food. We're so confident about it. We can't wait for everybody to try it.
And that's something that we want to add to the community as well. And yeah,
All right, so after the DJ, so it would play through your sound system, the standard sound system, no subwoofers, which are separate.
The sound system is going to be in ceiling and they're just one, they're one component speakers. They, no separate subwoofer.
No subwoofer, okay, that was important. Let me just see. The traffic concerns, it seems like you've tried to address that. Zach did and Jess say, giving everybody omni passes and free city bike passes for all those that will want to arrive that way. The full menu will be served until what, a half hour before closing, an hour before closing?
All the way until, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I believe, like we're planning a last reservation for 11.
okay. And then will you take walk-ins after 11 or no? So nobody's entering after 11?
Nobody's entering after 11, and that's in line with our requested closing hours, so that people have an ample time to dine and enjoy their experience. We're not kind of rushing them out.
Okay, but you do reservations,
And we
you
do
don't use the app and you do walk-ins?
Absolutely.
Okay, I think, that was it. Oh, and then the other thing that was important, since you're up in Canada, is once you get your team in place, if there could be a meeting with the community, with whoever the daily manager is going to, the person who's really on point all the time.
Absolutely, and we can't stress enough that, like, even though there's gonna be a management team here, that does not mean that we are not.
No, we'll have your cell phone,
Yeah.
the community will have
We're gonna
yours
be here.
cell phone number too, okay. I think that, so it's 1 AM Sunday to Wednesday, 2 AM Thursday to Saturday. Last reservation is at 11, last entry is at 11, okay, and no outside. All right, I think that's it for me. Does anybody on the committee have anything, Katie?
So, you mentioned private parties. We like to get a figure. How many a year?
So I mean, they do about 12, but they're concentrated, 12 as in one a month, but they're more concentrated in December when they do corporate events for
So
holidays.
12 a year
12 a year.
covers it. And what is the average check with liquor?
With liquor, I can speak to that a little bit. Our focus here is on providing maximum value for the guests. The average check is gonna fall somewhere along the 60 to 90, all depending on the mix. We do have some very elaborate cocktails as an example. They're like very feature rich and it's, very like themed. Those tend to be a little bit more expensive versus just having a bottle of wine or a glass of wine with your meal. So depending on where in that spectrum you sit, you're gonna be between that 60 to.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the committee have anything? Anybody here from the public on this one? Okay, I think that does it. Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks for your time.
Thanks. Good luck, yeah. Okay, do we want to take a break or?
I want a margarita.
I know, but we all want dinner. Do we want to take a break or not? Is everybody okay just going through? Okay, yeah, so now you're all prepared, Mark. We're just going.
Okay.
Come on up.
Would you just the invitation to the briefing or something indicated on the core plan?
He said near the bar.
And so that's how.
He said near the bar, somewhere near the bar.
Said near the bar.
I got two bars.
You want
to go- you want me to mute for a
second?
No.
Couldn't figure it out.
Wonderful way to identify you.
I know, right? So for.
Yeah.
Tell you in a hot.
Yeah, could we just start?
Of course.
Pass me the mic.
All right.
Hey, Mom, is there?
Well, come, bring your chair up here so you can participate in this, Valerie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I presume that you're all here for the. For my garage, let me just.
Yeah.
That's it. Doing that first. Huh? Oh, I see, okay, I just have to get my. Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out papers, because I mixed them in, all right. Okay, so the first one we're gonna do is LPB Pasta. Shop LLC. That's the old, when they garage space. So I've gotta keep doing now. C8, okay.
Everybody always asks. so.
Yeah, I know, but that's usually when it's, I write them all down, I just don't, so this is C8. Yep. So let's see, they're gonna close the outside at 10. Yep. Every night. They brought the sidewalk cafe down to 34 tables and 68 seats. They're gonna close the doors at 10. They're not gonna put speakers by the doors. 4 bios per year. Okay. Then there's no roadway. No. They Sunday, Wednesday, 10 o'clock, Thursday, 11 o'clock. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then Friday and Saturday, 12 o'clock, right? Yes, yeah.
And just to be clear, they changed the movement markings so that there can't be a roadway. It's not an option.
Okay, so there can't be a roadway. Yeah.
I have to say that we heard community opposition, and I think we should acknowledge that.
And doors, 10 o'clock, right?
Doors are 10 o'clock.
Doors and windows, any aperture, 10 to.
And we did get letters of support from people in the building.
We did.
I will note that the letters of support do not indicate hours of operation for how many people are gonna be outside.
Right.
Yeah.
It was, we support a liquor license at the location. And we don't really know what was presented to them truly. That's all.
One thing we didn't acknowledge is that this is a pretty big reduction in the number of tables and chairs that could be out there.
Okay.
Because remember, they spent a lot of time studying the past issues at this location. And so the application reflects a lot of the concerns. They didn't come in cold on this with everything maxed out, they watched our meetings, et cetera.
Okay, well, when you say tables and chairs, there's 2 tops and there's 4 tops. So I have 41 4 tops. And now we're down to 30 something.
Right, we're talking about the clearances within the.
Yeah, so I'm just saying the reduction is 41 to 34 if we're talking.
No,
they could've
they
put
started
more in.
off with a much lower number than what they could put in there. This isn't the maximum.
The
Yeah,
41 is
okay.
lower than
Right,
allowed, I think.
right.
It's still a lot more than what was there before. So, I mean, if we're, we're going from beer and wine with a lot less chairs outside, a lot less tables outside. So, yes, there's a reduction in what their application is, but it's an increase to what was there before.
Mhm.
And I would have liked to at least seen them keep what was, at the very least, what was there before.
What was there before? How many were there?
It's in the drive. 44.
44 seats or 44 tables?
44 seats, 22 tables, 44 seats.
That's a lot less.
Yeah, but I think that was the reason there were less is because the interior. had a
Was
lot
less. I mean, their
seating.
interior only took up
So-
half of the space.
Right.
Or a
But that
third
was-
of the
that was
space.
a
They kept
reflection of
changing
the-
it.
It was,
Which is why it didn't work, was
Yeah.
because they were, I think when they first opened, there were a gelato space and a dessert space with this tiny space over on the side that was sort of going to be a restaurant, but nobody even knew that it was a restaurant in there. Then it was pizza for a while. I think by the end, they were actually starting to get it together where they realized that the restaurant worked better but they also wanted the OP to make it work and that wasn't happening and they were not completely forthright with the community.
No, that
and-
was a
And,
big
you know, so that was a problem also. Which might also have, you know, that also has to go with their outdoor seating because they, even though they put the seats down, the only place they were really serving food from was that northern area there. So it was a very different operation. I mean, I think the impacts here are the noise. So having the outdoor closed early, I think is the kind of top is on the avenue. No, I mean, other places we have closing at 10 and some have closing at 11.
And the inside hours are extremely reasonable.
The inside is reasonable. And I do take the point that it's not a destination. I mean, yes, people go there to eat, and it's a destination, but I don't know that it's the destination in terms of getting all the black cars and for hire vehicles that.
Right on top of the subway. Right on top of the subway. Well,
And the other establishments on that street, well, they've been there a long time, with little places. Things that, this L plus
Yeah.
and Caribbean. And 32.
And there's no DJs, there's no TVs, background music only. I'm gonna point out the bathrooms for the number of people because the liquor authority wants to make sure that with all the outside seating, they have enough bathrooms if we're giving any bathroom waivers.
Mhm.
So how do we feel about this?
I think there should be less tables and chairs outside. That's what I think.
Even less than what they were willing to agree to.
I think you can always work your way up, but, I just think it's a large ask. It's a lot of tables and chairs outside. And it's never been, well, okay, it was an on-premise license 40, 50 years ago, but it hasn't been for a long time. And I think, I don't know, just to me, I think that is kind of how the SLA does it. They're like, okay, here's the number of tables and chairs outside, close at 10 o'clock. So I'm just saying that is, what as a community board, we would be up against at the state liquor authority. And to a certain extent, I mean, we have that ability to negotiate tables and chairs, that's all. I don't think we have much else to negotiate.
But this is a neighborhood spot. I mean, are we disputing that?
I'm not disputing anything. All I'm talking about is tables and chairs outside.
Right, so, but I'm
No
just
impact.
bringing that up because this is an avenue, closes at 10. There's obviously a huge demand for outside dining, and it's where people in the community go. So what do we keep negotiating down when the hours are the hours and
Well, we were going to approve the place across the street for another, 70 plus seats outside.
but they already have them.
Well, I understand they already have them because that's something that had an on-premise license and.
But these are all places that could have had this stuff
Yeah, but-
before. I mean, we're
The
sort
difference,
of,
Carter, is doesn't have an on-premise license. That's the difference.
right, but I
Okay.
mean, it's gonna get approved. Well, I mean.
I didn't say it
even-
wasn't,
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, why
even
do
the
we-
argument of the reduction of seats.
because it goes
closes
to the
at
public
10.
interest. It
Yeah,
goes
but
to
it
the
closes
public.
at
well, why don't we ask? And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I would
But
say.
why are you asking?
Right, cause
Well,
I asked.
because you already asked.
Well, I mean, I asked, well, I made my ask.
Yes, you
and-
did.
And so I sort of feel that I made that ask and if if board members wanted to ask further, committee members maybe should have asked then, so the pushback was then, so he could have, no, you asked me,
I
you did that.
But you were the one that was going to say it, and I said, why
No.
don't we why don't we
No,
just?
I said I was gonna propose but
That's all.
I guess because I didn't
I
necessarily
mean,
agree
I don't
with that.
know.
I think that is why.
I don't
No, I know,
you
but
guys
it's been.
come out here and explain to somebody on a beautiful day why there are less tables and chairs out there when everybody wants to sit outside and it's 6 o'clock at night. What's the impact? And I asked that because
The
the
impact is they
sidewalks
can come
wide
back,
enough,
they can come
they
back to
have
us.
all the clearances.
The impact is
and-
they can come back to us a year from now and say, well, we were having problems out there because more people want to sit up there.
That's what
And-
they're gonna, I'm gonna tell you
Why are you
something,
saying
that's what they're
that?
gonna say
But
right
that's-
now, because that's why the poor
Okay.
woman wants her 4 tables outside, because you go by these places in the summer and the inside of the, I'm just telling you, the inside of the restaurant is empty. And you can thank the pandemic for all of this, but nobody wants to
I'm not
be
thinking
inside.
anything.
And it's gonna be
I
the
don't think
people
that's
who live
the
here, who
reason.
wanna sit outside. And it's closing at 10. I mean, this is not a. I don't know.
A lot of tables and chairs, that's all.
It is,
It's a
well,
lot of tables and chairs. And a
I'll-
lot across the street as well. It just seems to me that there's, you know, when you're dealing with an on-premise license, you're not dealing with a beer and wine, you're dealing with an on-premise. And you have some ability to control the public, you know, the public interest standard, which is outdoor noise and intrusion on the people that live in that area. So I understand it's an avenue, that's why I'm not saying nothing. And that's why I'm not saying it shouldn't be an on-premise license. I think it's going to be, and I think it's pretty clear, it will be. That's all, but you know. I'm just one person, and if you guys disagree with me, there's not much I can do about it. I just think it's probably worth an effort. That's just how I feel about it.
So you want him to go down, just so I'm clear on what the ask is here, so he went from 84 to 68. So we want him to go from 84 to 40, he won't,
you're
cut it in
68.
half. One cut in half.
Well, now he's agreed to 68, so that's where he is, and now we want him to go down to 42.
Well,
You know what,
Well, you
if you
wanna
don't
get rid
ask,
of
it's
50.
not happening. If we do, if he says no, I'm willing to say this, if you're willing to ask, Donna, that you ask, and if he says no, I'll be denying less on the 68 seats. But if he comes back and he says, well, we could do 50, that's fine too. If he could reduce it at all, if you ask,
I
That is
feel
fine.
like if I'm asking him to do that, he already came down.
it came down so fast.
Well, then,
Why, where are you
What's
gonna
the-
sit at 6 o'clock on a beautiful Saturday?
In-
I mean, we're in our community. I ask you because that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody's waiting for.
Well, they can
And
sit
there's
across,
no
they can
impact
sit across
here
the street,
because
they
the
can, they
impacts
can
is
point
at
on
the
the
light
side.
that they're after
But the
10
other side's
o'clock, it's before
far.
10 o'clock on Avenue. I mean, I'm just saying, we're arguing here on something that we've already said, that this is not an inappropriate place for a liquor license.
I don't
And they
think
have
we're
less
arguing,
tables and
Carter, I
chairs
think
than
we're
what the city
suggesting that
allows.
maybe there's just too many out there to start out with a with an on-premise liquor license, when there wasn't one there before. I think that's what it is, it's not that we're saying no or anything about 6 PM. I think it's more a matter of, well, we haven't had a liquor license from this gentleman at this location.
but we've had, but
Without many seats up.
I'll say enough, we know him. I mean, we've had liquor licenses from him in our community. This is, I mean, I would agree with you more if we didn't know this operator. But we know the operator. I think he's got more seats crammed in
And then,
per square foot and in the other location, on what street is that on, Lafayette, or where is it over there?
Yeah.
I mean,
and then the next operator comes in and says, I want more than 64, and they got 64 before. I'm just saying,
The operator where?
the next
Here.
one.
Here, well, they're gonna
There will
apply,
be a
and they'll be
next up.
approved for
There will
more
be
tables
another
and chairs, because they're allowed to have more
application.
tables and chairs. We have a good
Alright.
operator who's willing to reduce seating, is what I'm saying.
It's not worth it to me.
Is
Okay,
that
then let's
because-
just go deny and less.
I feel that if this happens again, just all of you go against me like Carter did with the security and just, no, but I mean, because if the.
We're not against you, Donna.
Well, I mean, if the committee doesn't, because I feel it's not
Yeah.
proper to have asked him to do something and then go back and ask him to do something further if we're
That's why
not.
I'm saying.
If
let's
we're
just
not
go
going to deny it, because I feel like if I'm asking somebody something and they say no, we should. So we're denying less on it.
I'm fine.
And there's one, we
Five.
got for this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, so now, are you here for other ones?
Saint Jardine.
Okay, so do St. George Dean next. As far as I'm concerned, I I think it's too bad that the program doesn't work for everybody. As I was told by somebody at DOT one time, it doesn't work for everybody, so too bad. About a different application, someplace it can't apply, but we have been consistent. This committee has been consistent in saying that if it's less than 3 feet, it's not ADA compliant, and we've been denying that. And we've been doing that because we feel ADA compliance is important. And I understand why everybody wants the seats outside. Now, the one thing I would say to Brian's point is that there's an 8-foot clearance on West 10th Street, and they've got it at 9.5. And if they were to remove that one table by the door, because that's where they need the 8-foot. Actually, they could,
You know, the problem is though, problem is when you open up those doors, it's much greater than the 3 foot.
No, well, I
The
would,
doors themselves will block. The doors are huge.
They are.
They open up the door, then you see them in the pictures from other years, they open
yeah,
up the
they
doors.
can't even have
You
those.
can't even walk through there. The doors kill them.
Uh-huh.
So I have a question on this one, and this is just feedback from the last full board meeting
Right.
at the liquor authority, because they. You know, gave us sort of an insight into how they're responding to these when the community's involved. Is that if this is approved by DOT. And they say it complies. Then what are we gonna do, because. That's what it looks like it's on track to happen.
That's what's exactly about
And,
to happen.
and the liquor authority and the chair of the liquor authority made very clear that they are not the enforcers of the federal rules. But then we have a situation where we don't have an agreement with the operator. And I think that many elements of that agreement are important, in particular, the hours of operation, et cetera, on these things, and it reopens that conversation there. And I think that given what we saw at the last full board meeting, that there could be an expansion here in hours, because that was the response of 2 of the 3 commissioners. And that's our real-time
Right, sure.
feedback of what's happening.
Should it,
And, you know, I prefer, because every time we've had problems, that there's not an agreement in place where everything's very clear. We have a tremendous problem and there's no room for anything to happen.
so should we do one of those deny, but if it's approved here with the
I
restrictions?
don't even know
Well,
if
because,
that would,
because to Carter's
go.
point, you know, they got later hours up at the liquor authority.
Leaders inside or outside,
Outside,
outside.
they got later hours outside.
later
at
than
the
10 PM.
Yes, because what the
Because people
liquor authority had been doing for the ones that we had denied, but again, they weren't being denied on the ADA, they were being denied because the person,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that just
Yeah.
to give a full picture. That if, you know, we denied it because they wouldn't agree to the 10 PM. What the liquor authority has been doing with those has been trying to do 10:30 as a compromise, but that didn't work this time because and the same thing would happen here. They got a ton of letters from the community that was right there saying they were fine with them being open until 11,
God knows.
and they're open till 11.
So what should we do with
So
So-
the issue with the ADA stuff is that the liquor authority has
It's not
already
going to.
weighed in on that and said that they are they are not going to, that is the responsibility of DOT. So, and because nobody has properly addressed that with DOT, the liquor authority is
Not
saying,
for
we're
lack
not,
of trying.
yeah, we're not the ones. I just bring that up because this leads to a lot of elements of not having an agreement, and that
That's a problem.
is something that I think we heard a lot of representations tonight. That if people followed an agreement, it's better to have an agreement than have this approved at some point. And it just be very gray,
Not her.
because they said a lot of things that they were willing to.
Well, yeah, they
agree
did
to
say the
today.
2 tables, that.
I mean, I just, and the workaround is self-service, because that's the workaround on it.
And you can carry your liquor out
Yeah,
of-
yeah.
for yourself, okay.
There's no rules against that. So I just.
So did we get
do
her
we
to
really
agree
want these
10 p.m.?
situations being
Oh, no, did we
determining?
10 p.m.?
Do we want these situations that we're putting? If we're not
No.
agreeing in front of the liquor authority
No.
to be the test cases where,
Well, we had the test bench.
or we had the test case and.
Not,
and
not
there's
if they're,
already-
not if they're willing to agree to 2 tables, it seems to me, that, I
Well,
think that's,
which 2
that's not a
tables
bad
is she
problem.
agreeing to?
Well, it should be the ones where those doors are not, like, in other words, one here and one here, but the 2 on the corner.
One on Fourth and one on Tenth.
Yeah. And that was suggested by other people, and I was like, oh, that seems like a pretty good compromise. A lot of times
What is the
operators want,
obstruction on the right side of the main entry door?
what's that?
It's the obstruction on the right side of the entry door that, so
That's the main entry door there.
No, that's the one. This is it.
She has
This
a-
is secondary.
the service door.
That's not how it's been set up for the photograph.
No, if you look at the photographs, they all open up. There's doors and there's windows that open up.
I think this
This is where they have, this is where they have the enclosure on there right now, I believe, where, for the cold.
The winter.
Okay, well,
The winter enclosure.
anyways, there's a lot of things about this site plan that do not compute, does not make sense.
Yeah.
I don't think that, it's strictly following all of the clearance rules and so forth, and it just seems to me that if I was to, dig into that more deeply, that, I would find that there's room for more. Right now, there's a weather enclosure, a winter enclosure in front of the double doors where they have a green arrow directly opposite the tree pit.
Well,
And
there
then
also,
there is a delivery door,
there's also, on this picture, Brian, there is a garbage cage where there's a garbage cage where you're thinking maybe they could put.
So,
well,
a
anyway,
table.
that's a movable element. I just wanted to say, I'm not gonna be able to resolve exactly how they could, put their seating. But I do not believe that any city agency or state agency can just wipe their hands clean of following federal law about accessibility.
well,
It's just, there's not an option to ignore it.
They're not saying that, though. What they're saying is the liquor authority is not saying that. They're saying that this is the DOT program.
right.
So the DOT
And-
says
and-
it's,
And,
Well,
Well,
it's a.
The DOT program is a municipal agency that is bound by the city building codes.
Nobody's disagreeing, so
Oh,
that's where the
good.
challenge
That's
is,
good.
is
So
that.
everybody is
Somebody
supposed
needs
to
to,
apply and abide by the ADA requirements.
and.
I appreciate your
by
frustration.
DOT, yeah.
Right.
But
I appreciate it 100
I was just saying that I think that a recent meeting between the liquor authority and with the DOT, that there's some appreciation from DOT that people are trying to get clarity on these rules, and they understood. And I think that they
The
heard
DOT
everybody
likes
else
cloudy,
saying, hey,
gray.
we don't have any guidance
Look
on
the other way.
anything. They can't even define a primary building entrance in 2 sentences. Like, what is, in a couple sentences of where does it qualify? It's a know it if you see it, which is,
You know what,
yeah, and.
Donna,
So it's,
I'm next.
Okay.
New York City has its own disability laws. Maybe we've got to look into citing
If you,
those.
if you have the time to do that, why don't you start doing that? I have cited
Yeah.
everything up to Ian, no idea how much I've written, I have no idea how many letters I've written, gotten nowhere, so if somebody else. wants to
Every
take this on,
municipality
go
has
for it.
adopted the federal ADA.
Yeah, and so I think
Applies
instead of
every-
saying ADA, we should say New York City DA. I
It's
will
not
look
gonna,
into it.
I'm just telling you, this.
I understand that. I will look
DOT
into it.
is not doing that, so I'm sure that people can find somebody to file an Article 78 on any specific
what has to happen.
application about it, within, what is it, 180 days of an approval. And
120.
you can, 120 days, and they can weigh in on that, but absent that, nothing's gonna happen.
You're right, it's administrative law, and it's a little out of
Not
control.
the short term problem, the long term.
So what are we doing with this one? Because
Can I just say
don't-
one thing and then,
What?
so a lot of businesses like to have the table and chair out there to invite people into they like to have that. So that's why I'm saying, not a bad compromise despite the morass here, is 2 tables and, and have them be 16 inches or what she said, 18 inches.
Well, I'm just gonna say it needs to comply with the rules of the program. I mean, she's gotta serve from within the sidewalk cafe area.
Well,
I'm
no,
not-
that's not what I'm saying. Not totally true, because people can bring their own stuff outside.
Okay.
And remember, our board also has a position that we don't think that there should be barriers
Yeah.
on the single
Right.
row tables
Order.
for exactly this, reason is that it.
So what do you want me to
impedes-
do? That's all I wanna know is what to do with this
Well,
one.
I'm just saying that I think that there are all these elements here that make this a very difficult one, but I don't think. What is it in the end, if it is approved by DOT?
Mhm.
What is it that we're,
We want the 10 a.m. closing.
what is it we're doing? And I'd rather,
10 p.m.
if have an agreement.
Are you saying what I'm saying then? The 2 tables, go back with them, say 2 tables, 1 on each corner.
I
And
mean,
yeah.
if it
I don't think
fits
he's
with,
saying
DOT.
DOT
people-
4 tables.
DOT gives them the footprint within which they can put tables and chairs. The
Tables
DOT
must
does not
comply with all
require
rules and
a
regs, that's what I'm
diagram.
Right,
that
so
even
you just have to
has
tell me what you're
tables and
saying,
chairs.
because I don't.
Right, you're not saying. it's
No, I'm
fair.
just
gotta be
saying
more
that I think
specific.
that what's here and what's applied for, if that's what's approved by DOT, what is it that we're taking issue with if it's
So
self-service?
just say 2 tables.
Because
and
that's
4
the
chairs,
way
And let them,
that it complies with all the rules. So what is it? That was my question to them, is there an approvable mechanism within which to service tables and chairs? And that self-service, if that's how it's done.
Should we
is-
say that in the resolution?
Well,
that makes it amorphous. If you actually say how many chairs and how many seats, then it's not amorphous. If you're saying it can be in different locations, Carter.
No, what I'm
based on
saying
what
is
the
that their
DOT told them,
plan
then they can put it in those
fits
different
everything that's in there, and if they do more narrow. I mean, I bring this up because the Half Pint has 12-inch tables that were attached to their wall under the old DCA sidewalk cafe, and so did, there's another. The Groove, did the same thing, I believe, and that was when they had a service aisle department. But, they can adjust all these things, and they said they're willing, so this isn't somebody who's telling us that they're not gonna follow
Right,
the
so
rules.
you have to be
So if
very
it's
concrete
approved-
and say what it is that you're saying, because are
Okay.
you saying 12-inch? Are you
Any
saying
more-
I think
2?
what-
Are you saying?
I think
what do you
that
say?
what's presented here is something, if we want whatever the width of the tables is. that
So
they
you're saying
say.
8, you're saying 8 seats and 4 tables.
Well, that's that's the footprint that's been
that's what I'm
approved by DOT. So yes, I don't know why we would,
Okay,
Well, again, for the same reason I said to you before, is that they're willing to discuss things. And it's less intrusive, at least in terms of having 2 tables and 4 seats than it is to have 8. That's all. That's the only difference here. So I'm just saying, if they're willing to work, then maybe,
I think we asked and they said that they weren't interested.
oh, no. They were suggested of 2 and 2.
She said she would do whatever, if she needed to move the tables because she couldn't open the windows or
That's what she
whatever.
said.
She would remove the table, but she didn't agree to 2
Right.
tables and 4 seats as a thing. So now you want me to go back to her and do 20 emails back and forth to her? I'm sorry, but this all should be pinned down if that's,
And they did
Well,
say
that's what
one of the
it's- that's
things
what
is they
it's-
would keep the 5-foot clearance from residential entry,
They
which was
enforce
the
that thing.
feedback, I think, from our outdoor dining.
Right.
Working group, so they've complied with all that, that's why this makes it a difficult thing, because, what are we?
well, I'm writing down here. The tables must comply with all rules and regulations, and the service must comply with all the rules and regulations. because that's somewhat different. And the service may bring her to 2 tables, in order to comply. But there will be no more than 4 tables and 8 seats.
Right.
That's the cap.
I just think that we've been reliant because we've left this position to the liquor authority and they've been supportive in certain elements. But in this case, this is the elements here, I don't think this is really something we wanna push.
Well,
I
they're not,
think
I think we already
good.
found out, right, I mean,
You know.
our objection to this is really that the ADA accessibility and the liquor authority is not going to enforce that.
And they've said that, right?
I mean, that's been very clear,
Well,
so
we should say that it is still our
I'm
concern.
going to say that it's still our concern, that's of course gonna be written in there, but the liquor authority has made it clear, because we tested it, that it is not under their purview to enforce something that DOT has approved.
And we've raised it
rules of
to DOT.
Well,
And we've highlighted that. to DOT.
With SLA.
No, but just in our resolutions to DOT, and they have come up with some explanation, which.
Well,
what it is, but-
So,
And there's a 10 PM closing,
yes,
so are we denying less? With all those
Yeah.
caveats?
Yes.
yeah,
Bob?
And I think that it should be written in there though, that the doors can't, and the windows can't interfere. You know, with the operation, because that's.
what does that mean exactly?
That means they have to be closed because.
Well,
there's no other way to do
I
it.
mean, there are ways that they can do it, but I don't think they have to serve through the windows, but if they may not be able to open all of them is the
Right.
point.
Okay, good.
All right,
What's the next one?
okay, so now we'll go back to now we'll go in order. Shintakumi,
Thank you, Donna.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you, guys.
Just no staff in the backyard.
So let me just get that.
Which one is?
Shintakumi, which is, the one that was the previously unlicensed on Greenwich Avenue with the hours of 10 o'clock and, 11 o'clock Friday and Saturday.
Well, I thought it was 10:30 Sunday to Thursday and 11:30.
That's what he said, 10:30, 11:30.
I think you've gotta have time to get
Oh, yeah,
place closed
yeah, I'm
up.
going by, yeah, it's 10:30 and 11:30
And, no staff in the backyard.
and no staff in backyards.
But we didn't, well, Carter wasn't here.
No, I know, so we,
What was this before again?
nothing, it's where the clothing store is before you hit the other stuff on Greenwich
And
Avenue.
it'll never be an OP because it's right next to the school.
Right, so this is 4-0, and we did not have a quorum on this.
Not form.
Never got
So
that
we
before.
had no quorum on this one.
I'll have to handle that.
Okay, then the next one is, we did was
Pandaria.
Pandaria. And that was,
And the preschool on the block doesn't count, right? Preschool
It
don't,
does, it counts, but it doesn't.
doesn't void.
No, I don't see, I don't think
This
that's.
is a runner-up.
Yes, I can
So regular, if it were grade,
so,
It has to be like an elementary school.
so this was 11. Friday and Saturday, 10:30. 10:30 Tuesday to Thursday, and 11. Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, no problem with the hours. And they say they will never have roadbed dining, they will never apply.
Right. Um,
24 private parties a year.
Yep,
And they assured you there was a barrier between the kitchen and the pathway to the
Yeah.
bathroom, they assured you. Although I didn't see it on their plans.
well, the kitchen's, I mean, it doesn't show that it's not there either.
No,
Shows
it
the
doesn't
kitchen,
show.
so,
I'm looking.
the diagram.
Usually, oh, here we go.
But you asked about it.
I did ask if there was a,
All the pictures were a real dingy interior, that's for sure.
yeah,
It's next to his fine.
It was a very nice restaurant, 15
the
years ago.
community block association was okay with it. So are we
I'm fine with denying that.
denying that,
Yes.
Carter?
Yeah.
Okay, next one is with Barrow Hospitality, 555 Greenwich.
Yeah. And this was C3. Just one pair.
What
Yeah.
are we thinking about the certificate of occupancy issue?
It's a new building.
Yeah, they won't open until they get that sorted out,
But
is that
it was more that it.
didn't line up?
Yeah, it doesn't.
I know.
But that's not unusual in new.
Okay, so we're okay.
Yeah, it's 12 and 1.
It's a
No
cabin
security,
space.
background music.
Oh, and just for the 13 Barrow one, I went back, let's look at the last. I
Yeah.
think there might be an existing wall there,
Okay,
it's in two past.
he said there was, he said there was a wall. I
Yeah,
asked
and
if there was a
it's-
wall.
it's-
and-
This is where our friend, Alex Fournier and I.
Okay. And one close. And I'll just say something like they'll have all certificate, they'll get a.
Yeah,
proper
great.
certificate
Yeah,
of
yeah.
occupancy Before.
Yeah.
CO or LNO before opening.
Across the street from UPS.
I know.
So we're denying less on that. Okay, the next one that we did was 192 LLC.
I'm sure that Carter knows how to pronounce Bon Sauvant.
Yeah.
PCB. So let's see, did we, it's 2 AM,
6 private parties.
6 private parties. 12 AM all days. 2 AM, 7 days, 10 PM, sidewalk and no roadbed. So the sidewalk got a decrease in hours.
It's 10 PM.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just, this application is for an on-premise, it's a restaurant because they have a full kitchen, but they are saying that they're a bar. It's like a wine bar, like the other one was.
Oh, yeah.
But they do have a full kitchen, so. Okay, is there anything else I need to put down on that one? They'll have security, that's the one with security, so they have security as needed. I just want to make
Yes.
sure I don't check off that box on the stipulations that they don't have it.
I will say it, any place that has any of these big sidewalk
We want the
cafes,
security.
it's very weird engagements, like
Okay.
going on outside, but
It's
stuff.
crazy.
Yeah, I've just seen a few,
Wacky doos.
yeah.
Greenwich
and
Village,
nobody's-
wackadoos.
Nobody's,
Like serving the tables and there's crazies coming up.
yeah,
Wow,
Yeah.
it's definitely,
not good.
cause I've seen that over around the Bowery and.
Mhm.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely an
So
issue.
there's plenty right in that area.
Okay, so we're denying less?
But I'm voting no, because I don't.
Oh,
like the 2 AM.
but also-
I just don't vote.
You're gonna vote no?
Also, these guys also operate a number of venues
Right,
in our community. board.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
okay, no.
I think they tripped up in the beginning, had some issues and then they've. been
Cleaned it up.
better, Yeah, cause they were the downstairs,
Yeah,
next door to, same place in Greenwich and stuff.
right around
And you were no because 2 AM?
right at,
Would there have been
whatever it is.
what would you agree to?
I know where
1
it is,
AM,
across the
12
park,
12
and
to
it's
1?
right there.
Yeah. I think
The
that'd be
Neighbors
better.
or something like that, was that the
It
neighbors?
is.
No.
A lot of residential stuff, Ruby something.
Yeah, but
No.
the residents are right
That was
above
the
it,
other
and
one,
they're
but
part of
there's
that
something- there
condo
was
that's renting
something-
it, you know, they're
It's
renting
a
it
little,
out.
I can
It's
see the
good.
sign.
I know, but then,
Okay, so then the next
on.
one is, Miles
on
on
Hudson.
Hudson.
10 PM closing outside. Last meeting at 11 PM. 6 private parties a year. But what happened with the noise? What was, what,
The DJ.
but what was the slightly above background?
I mean,
I remember seeing that.
Somebody else
See
did
it.
better.
I mean, it's
I note
not,
that the landlord is insisting on soundproofing.
no, that's on the other one.
That's on SA. This is all commercial. This is a.
That's on the
true-
SH one.
No outside wait station. You got that,
Well, they, yeah, our STIP say that. Our
Good.
STIP say that. So no subwoofers.
Yeah. I was like, what?
And so the DJs and the music is only they didn't agree to acoustic music.
But this is
Doesn't matter.
totally enclosed.
Right.
think.
I know,
Yeah.
you can't hear anything. It's,
Just,
yeah, I agree.
And it's only 6 times a year.
And I'm only agreeing to the 2 AM closing because the last seating is at 11 PM.
Okay,
And did have hours till 2
and
AM,
it did have hours.
but they never, I don't think they were
No.
ever really open. There's not much going on.
Okay, and then the next one is the CH Resto,
Oh, yeah.
7.
With the $120 drinks on their menu in Toronto.
What?
I'm scared for them.
There's a cocktail for $120?
There's a whole bunch of them.
What's in it?
Yeah,
They think I-
Mezcal, it's Mexican, come on.
Yeah, but meatpacking though, they might,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, it's super high-end Mexican.
but they don't have, I mean, what they don't have
The
is,
guys in the picture with like all the basketball players with bras.
yeah,
like,
yeah. That's what it's gonna be. I mean,
Tex-Mex.
No, the margarita was $120.
Insane.
Wow.
it's gonna be that,
Special, he did say specialty drinks. I
But I
did
mean,
not mention how much.
I will say, you know,
So that's.
Seem like nice guys.
no, they were,
Yeah,
they, I will say, when we had the
Look at the
community
Toronto menu.
meeting.
Right, that's right,
and
that's where I found
I-
it, the Toronto menu.
I raised the thing about the traffic, because that's one of that
Yours
street
is
is
even
horrible,
more.
it's horrible, because you've got Chateau Margaux and you've got Catch right, and Soho House right after it, so you've got them all right there, and so all the cars that are trying to turn onto 13th Street get jammed up because of those Catch and Chateau Margaux are right there with everybody getting in and out, so that you can't turn, the light doesn't go, so and when that backs up, it goes, well, that's when this is, because the residents start hearing all this when it backs up.
Yeah.
So, and then, what, I like what he said on our community, he says, well, we gotta figure this out too, because if people are waiting 10 minutes to get down to our restaurant, which is at the other end of the block, they're not gonna be walking into our doors happy campers.
Yeah, that's
right.
They've already started having a bad night, so, I don't know what they're gonna, I mean, it sounds like they're trying to do some things.
The guys from Puma Pizza said they were gonna do the same thing with the Uber.
Yeah.
For the end of the block.
Yeah. So, so with them, the DJ is 7 nights, it's 1 o'clock and then 2 o'clock.
But the last seating's at 11 PM.
Right, I mean, I wasn't sure if they still let walk-ins in after that, but they said no, so no entry after 11 PM.
Yeah. And,
But that, I'm a little surprised about that,
Not sure.
well, you know
Well,
what? They're making their nut on that $120.
I know, but
cocktail.
in meatpacking, people would come in at 12 o'clock and eat for, I mean, that's the thing, where they're located, I mean, I think that's why we didn't have a problem with the 2 o'clock on the weekends and the DJ in the first place, because nobody's gonna hear what's going on in there.
Now, well, wait till we have Gansevoort Square.
They're still not gonna hear it, they'll hear the horns honking.
It would, but
So are we?
12
denying
private
this?
parties a year?
Yeah.
And they're going to do this whole thing with some sort of what is this person outside, a host?
It's just good, yeah, I mean, I'll put security as needed, they can either have it be a host or, or security, I think they they don't necessarily want.
But the pickup will be on Washington Street.
Right. Okay, anything else?
I'm not gonna be denying that.
That's good, denial us, everybody's?
Okay.
Okay, oh, and they're the ones that have the landlord did say they have to install soundproofing because they have commercial tenants up above and they don't want their commercial tenants, so they're helping get them in touch with sound engineers and everything else because that's part of their lease that they have to.
Do you need us to vote on any of the waves
Yes,
or
thank
anything?
you, Katie. So we have to vote on all of the waves. So Slice West Village. We heard that and the board approved that in May. They hadn't filed their application, so this is strictly a re-notification. This was for them to go into the adjacent storefront. AV 7th Avenue, that All'Antico Vinaio, was a reconsideration of their tavern wine license. We had denied it because they didn't have a bathroom and because they wouldn't agree to close their windows in the outside at 10 PM. They have a bathroom and they signed the stipulations to close at 10 PM. They had said that Bar Pasolino was open later and the other restaurants were open later, and I let them know that Bar Pasolino was closing at 10 PM. So we have those, the Industry Pizzeria on Christopher Street. Somebody was here to speak on that, and I talked to him at the beginning of the meeting, so, about their lines, because he lives right there, right there. And so we do have stipulations now, and then we had denied that license, so it got approved without it even being called up by the liquor authority, despite us asking for it to be called up.
Beer wine, right? It's beer.
Beer and wine, but I mean, still, they didn't call it up, so it's licensed already. So now we have stipulations on it that says that the lines will be adjacent to and in front of the building. And closing at 12 and all the other
So what are
standards.
how are they, what,
I don't know, I'm just, that's just what we have, so if the person upstairs wants to file a complaint all the time, at least there's some mechanism to do that. And then Zandra Hospitality, doing business, Caben or whatever it is, at 300 Spring Street. That was just an alteration to add the sidewalk, we had already discussed it at our previous, it's all written into our resolutions, I believe that one's closing at either 10 and 11 or 11, I think it's 10 and 11. But it's doing what we had discussed and what was written into the reso. So are we
Okay.
denying less on all of those?
Yes.
Yes.
Skip D2, Taco Mahal.
Oh, I forgot that one was on there.
Just so you know, there's no bathroom, Taco Mahal.
Well, then. I have to look at that one. I waived that one.
They actually have a sign that says, don't even ask.
Do they? Then I shouldn't have waived that.
That's really, it's like, don't do that.
Okay,
Absolutely. do
so
not
let me
that.
see, I think that one. I think is another just,
That was a corporate change, by the way, according to the calendar.
is that what it is?
Taco Mahal was a corporate change.
Okay, so that's a corporate change, thank you. And the main person stayed, and so, we have steps. So so there was nothing really to change.
So
Other than
we
just-
can approve it without a back restroom?
I don't think we have a choice.
We don't have, I mean, it's already licensed, it's a corporate change, it's just gonna go through. And we already have stipulations in that person's name, so essentially, nothing's changing. Because I don't have to have them re-sign anything, because it's the same person that signed it. So, I guess I can write in the corporate
If
change.
they ever
that-
come back, then we can speak to them about it, but
Okay,
they also added the place next door. An alteration.
thanks,
Still,
Brian, okay.
I don't think they came to us for the alteration.
no, I don't think so.
No, they didn't,
They took the old Haagen-Dazs thing?
but they're really nice operators and,
Yeah.
it's good business, we can do.
All right.
All right,
Okay,
did we do it?
I think we did it. 9:54, not so bad.
Not so bad.
They got out in Toronto,
We're
like,
out,
wow, you guys
yeah.
are here till 9 o'clock at night. Whoa.
You don't-